What are some of the hardest? Hello, happy Friday. I'm so quiet. I feel really weird to like be super big and loud and excited because my parakeets are in the other room, and I don't know, I just feel a little kind of withdrawn or something. I don't know. But happy Friday. Welcome. If you're watching this on replay, only if you're watching this on replay, because I don't see anyone viewing right now. I'm Arena, not Marina, and I review, react, analyze, give my 2 cents on mainly Blake Lively stuff, but just kind of anything really. Products. There's some in the background. I am not sponsored in any way by anyone. But yeah, sometimes I come across products that are really like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing, or oh my gosh, this is the worst thing. TV shows, movies, general news sometimes. I don't know. So yeah. And also, this is not a podcast. If you're watching it on replay, it kind of is. But generally, I like interacting with the chat, like real life dialogue. So, yeah, in that sense, it's not a podcast. And if you enjoy this, if you watch more than 2 or 3 of my videos, please consider subscribing. My goal is 200, 300 by end of May, and we're getting close. We're not going to make it. Just because I'm trying to get to 500 by the summer, by June, so I can both like get the ad revenue from the ads that are being played on my videos that I was just informed in, and also to provide you like other perks and things. So hit that like and share and subscribe. Anyways, I'm gonna get into just odds and ends, and then leave the Blake Lively thing towards the end because that's a lot. A lot happened yesterday. A lot. It was like whiplash in a way. I was driving pretty much the whole day. So yeah, it was a lot. I need to catch up. I was trying to catch up on YouTubers yesterday and today. I caught on some. I'm not going to share necessarily tidbits from some YouTubers, But I'll definitely include their links below because I thought they're doing great stuff. They did great stuff for this. They're always doing great stuff for in general. Oh my gosh, yeah. Today's going to be rough. The last couple of weeks, I noticed like my brain, my mouth, they're not functioning that well. I think this week for sure is like just being tired and not really sleeping. Going to bed, either going to bed late or going to bed early but not sleeping until late. Yeah, anyways. I have a product of the week that I think it was like last week. In case this is again not sponsored, but I've been using this for for a few years now. Don't catch my face, catch it, catch it, catch it, take it. Okay. But yeah, it's they used to have two versions, and one was drying and one was not, and I think they picked and stuck with just the drying one. So this is old to drying, but outside of that, it's really good right now for allergy season. So yeah. All right. Oh, I mentioned this in one of the previous ones. Two things. One, I mentioned the cortisol addiction commercial that I started seeing, and I thought I need to speak about this because what addiction? This is not our fault. Cortisol is released as a response to stress. I think just as a response to stress. I don't know. But I know as much as you can't be addicted to it. It's not dopamine or something. It's not like, ooh, I want to feel good more and more and more. That's an addiction. That's something in your control. Stress is, I mean, the acute stress, the chronic stress that usually leads to probably what they're trying to target with this ad is mostly external. Yes, we can sometimes manage, you can do meditations, you can do this or that, but doesn't mean that it always will work because there's so many misleading statements out there, but there's one particular therapist that has spoken up against many misconceptions, but one being that shoot, my brain. Wow, okay. I want to curl up and cry right now. Like, it's just so frustrating when my brain isn't here and my mouth isn't here. And I get stressed out and I get in my head and it becomes this loop. Oh, man. Oh, I forget. Oh my gosh, maybe I'll remember. But yeah, I need to watch the whole ad, I guess, to have more notes maybe, but just from that, like, no, stop trying to blame the victim. It's kind of like victim blaming, this cortisol addiction ad. Okay. Just kind of in many instances for, I'm not even saying most, just many instances of anxiety and depression, instead of giving out medicine for it, it's not the people's fault. It's not really the wiring. The wiring is actually working for them. It's the circumstances, it's the environment that needs to change. And there's this resistance because, you need that job, you need that thing, you need to survive or whatever, and you are in just bad circumstances for that. So many times it's like you have to talk with a professional that is able to really decipher between the two, between like, is it really like faulty wiring in you, or is it the right wiring but the wrong circumstances and things need to change. But now I've seen so many ads to like, your depression antidepressant isn't working, well, add this other drug to it. Oh, you're starting to like get twitches and like little spasms and I forget what they call it, tardic dyskinesia or something. Oh, because you're taking, two drugs against or two antidepressants. Oh, let me give you this other one so you can like combat your body basically saying, hey, something's going on, something is wrong, and short circuiting. So yeah, that's how I feel about whatever, medicine that they're trying to advertise for that. I've been trying to say that for a while. So because this is not going to be a long one. There's not much to say. It's going to be long only if something comes up or we get into like fun discussions. But I don't even see anyone here today. So it might just be very, very short and very just me one sided talking. The other part that I have here, I was watching two things. There's a lot of videos out there like walk for your waistline, walk to lose weight, etc., etc., etc. And definitely walking more than running. Again, playing into the cortisol story. If you run, if you do HIIT workouts, etc., you might spike your cortisol and it might defeat the purpose. You might actually hold on to fat more as a result. But yeah, walking generally is okay. But I will say from a personal standpoint, it's not always what works for some people doesn't necessarily work for others because it might be something else that's the root of the problem. And for me, I know that in 2020, 2021, I was walking quite a lot, more than I've ever walked. I had more steps than I ever had on, through my watch ever. I mean, since like Apple Watch has come out, because I think I had the first one. And I was not losing anything. I actually kept gaining, or I started gaining. I started gaining after having COVID, really. Excuse me. Wow. But yeah, so if you're frustrated because you're walking, you're getting your 10,000 or however many steps in, and your waistline isn't moving, first of all, if your waistline isn't moving but other things are moving, what I've learned is that's cortisol. So check that. A lot of doctors seem to not want to check for that because, like, well, your cortisol can be high, anyways. It's like, okay. Um, Anyways, so yeah, I just wanted to like talk about that because that popped up into my head. This is like a segment of like just random things that I've come across and I've wanted to, mention as appetizers, I started calling them. The other thing, high end workouts. I forget her name, Taylor something. She has a YouTube channel. She's really cool. Let me pull her up. And she had a video on high end gyms. I mean, not. Oh, there you go. Taylor Bell. Travis Kelce hits the gym after touching down at Taylor Swift's LA mansion. Okay. Um, so, oh, darn it. I have this, like, moving it over here. This video right here, this is the one. I love her. I've watched her many times. I like how informative she is and transparent, especially with YouTube revenue and like other streams of revenue around YouTuber being a YouTuber, etc. But yeah, so I was watching this video, and she said she made this comment: if you pay $40 per class, you're not going to skip. And I said, well, let me tell you about something called rebellious subconscious. Because that might actually be a bigger reason for me to skip it. Not because, like, oh, I want to be a rebel, but because I guess so. Like, I don't want to be locked in. So, what's actually helped me to stick to a gym or to a workout is not thinking about the money, like putting it down, having this, subscription to this gym and all the fitness classes being included, and that's it. And so it takes away from me thinking about the money, whether I'm winning or losing, and then just liking it, to be honest. Not even endorphins or anything, because I've never really felt that endorphin situation from workouts, especially cardio aerobic type workouts, maybe like strength training a little bit. But yeah, it's definitely not, oh, because I pay, so I trust me, so many times that I pay, I'm like, I don't care. My well-being, whether it's like physical or mental or emotional health, my well-being is more important than that $40 of that class. Like, let them have that $40. I'm not going to be attending class if I don't feel like it fits with my well-being. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that because that is such like a, also coaches, I think, say that a lot, and it's like such BS. I wonder if you're watching this on replay or now in the chat. Hi, April. I mean, have you, hi, Maria's. Have you felt, have you been on either side? Have you said, let them keep the money if for a class, a workout class, or a gym membership, or whatever that you signed up for? Or has it really been impactful for you to like show up? And then did you cancel it afterwards? Did you say never again? Like I'm forcing myself because I paid. I'm forcing myself now this week, this month, this class, and then never again. Because I kind of, one of the things that she was saying too, a lot of the gyms bet on people not paying to show up, unlike these ones. And because then, they don't have to really maintain the facility as much because it's less wear and tear on the machines and everything. So they're betting on that. So I'm guessing that most people probably don't care how much they pay or don't pay. It's more just something that coaches like to tell you because they're usually not that informed and they're just coaching because they want the easy money, honestly, I think. Hi, P. I'm out of breath. But yeah, so let me know your experience in fitness and paying for fitness. I don't know. My brain, sorry guys, my brain's like here and there. It comes and goes. I don't know. I think I need sleep. And yeah. Oh, and I also mentioned the social and emotional aspect. So for me at least, and I think for a lot of people, and I think she mentioned this for these two, it's showing up with the people that are there, and then you build not even friendships or relationships, but you see the same people. Like I can speak to one Zumba class. Both have people that I've seen regularly, but one particularly, it's like these old ladies, and it just makes me feel good to see them. They're sometimes they're like better than me at Zumba, and they're like, I'm talking, I think they're mainly somewhere like 70s, 80s, maybe somewhere even 90s. I don't know. Maybe like the other one has 90-year-olds, but yeah. So in a time where I feel and I keep reading and seeing so many people, loneliness, loneliness, loneliness. I saw something on Instagram today talking about how, you know, um, any company, any streaming company, or like, chocolate or whatever, any kind of company, they are hoping you stay home alone because then you have to buy more of their product or service because you don't have the freedom that comes with just social interactions, just meeting up with people that doesn't cost anything. I remember talking, I think it was with my ex, that we used to talk a lot about, like, you don't have what I've learned since third spaces here like you have in New York or big cities. Here, if you want to meet up with someone, you have to do it at a bar, restaurant, or something where you have to pay to be there. Bowling alley, pool table, like anything. And so that's a whole other thing too. Um, but yeah, so for me, I consistently have shown up to Zumba because I love dancing. I've always loved dancing. However, I really wanted to start dancing classes, but I'm not showing up to those because I don't have the emotional connection to it. And it's more serious and more intimidating because I'm like, oh my gosh, those people are like professionals and it's a professional type class, even though it's for beginners that I would go into. So yeah, but Zumba is like just anyone can go. It is very it feels like exactly meeting my needs of being safe, meaning like I don't have to meet any particular expectations, and at the same time social, which those like go together but also can contradict each other. And Zumba, the two that I have don't, especially the one on Friday. So yeah. I'd love to know your thoughts, if any, on what's the DD. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, okay. I have very short thoughts on that. Sorry, before I answer that, sorry, I missed the top ones. Planet Fitness is hard to cancel and they charge you if you show up or not. Exercise classes, I use nature to exercise. That's the best one, Maria. That's the best one. Unless you're lonely, and then it's probably not the best. But I'm guessing you're not. Um, yeah, I like nature. Um, I was afraid of because I joined LA Fitness. I was afraid of that. Um, I read everything that I could in their terms and service and all that stuff, and they basically like they take the yearly membership fee or whatever, but then per month you can cancel anytime. But I know some gyms don't do that, and they try to keep you from leaving, which is a pain. It sucks. But for this, like, it was just I was going all the time, every week for 2 months. Not for 2 months, for like a month, and I knew that I was going to go for April as well. So I was like, I tried to be as safe as possible from that cancellation loop, but I'm like, it's worth it because I'm not giving up. Like, I really need this. As far as the Diddy trial, I mentioned like I'm not going to be covering it. If anything changes, it'll change. Maybe it'll change because it's definitely I'm definitely curious. It's so big. It's such a huge one. But I'm honestly, to be very very honest, I'm afraid of him and his people. I know like that sounds probably so ridiculous. Um, but I was like, I commented this on Lauren's one live or video or something, like the Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni, the Taylor Swift Venable, whatever, those trials are probably the only ones that I would like to be in person for any open to the public hearings, or sessions. And it's the only one that I'm not scared of covering, kind of. Because even though it's crazy and it's unfair and unjust or unjust and maddening, and I mean, Blake and Ryan seem to have a whole bunch of power, people are still alive around them. Like, not that, this would happen to YouTubers, but like, I don't know. And with knowing myself and how unfiltered I am, even when I try to be filtered, it eventually like comes out, and I just don't trust that. I don't trust myself to cover that. But also, I think even more so at this point, I did watch Andy's the first day that she was on the stand, Cassie, and I watched that like 3 days ago or something, and it, oh gosh, when I first heard about this whole trial, not the trial, but like when he got arrested and everyone was like making videos, or oh gosh, I don't remember what I think I've shared this guy before, but I don't remember. I was watching this guy. I was watching his coverage. I was like watching pretty much anything for like 2 days straight, probably, or 3 days. Not straight, but like every evening or whenever I was watching things. And it got in me. It wasn't necessarily like PTSD because I didn't have anything like this or close to what is being alleged and talked about happen to me. But so I can't, it's not that, but it still felt very. This is, I think, when people say they're empaths, which I don't really believe in empaths. I believe in empathy, and I believe like just naturally people are connected to each other and they're meant to feel what other people feel. But anyways, but yeah, I felt like it was this combination of, it was when I started dreaming again about doing music and even film. I don't remember exactly when was that. Was that in the spring or summer? Um, one or both. And so it was like clashing with that because I'm like, I don't want to be anywhere near these things. And if it means like giving up on my dream and just go, I felt the same way then as I felt now listening to Andy and Kim recapping Cassie's testimony that first day. I wanted to crawl out of my skin. I did not. And I said this before that even happened, but it was like building up, like, hey, first day of his trial or whatever. So I think the day before that, I said like, I don't think I can do it for like my well being, my mental health, emotional health. It gets to me too much. It gets in my skin too much. Because I imagine the things very vividly, and it's just so disturbing. I just, whatever happened, whatever they're describing is too disturbing for me. And it gets to me and gets under my skin. But maybe curiosity will win over that at one point because everyone's going to talk about that. But like, I even, like, I was like, I can't even see Andy's like thumbnails on stuff. I don't know. So I don't know what happened besides that first day. And I'm guessing that's not what you're referring to because not much happened that first day. I'm trying to think of. Yeah, because like Andy and Kim and everyone was like wondering, especially Andy, like, yeah, but this isn't illegal what they're describing, what they're asking her about. And yeah, it's disturbing or whatever, but it's not illegal. And it's not also not related to the charges. So where are they getting at? Then someone who, I don't know how to say this, on YouTube, uh, was in that club with J Lo, the whole incident, and she was on the receiving end of him, she claims, and yeah, she was saying that no, they're actually really just proving the control. They're actually like really spot on. But to the untrained legal ear or something, it doesn't sound like much, or very related. But I'm trying to remember what happened that first day. See, I heard like my mind already like pushed it out. Um, Also, like her, she's so gorgeous. It's so, man, it's so sad. I loved. I've actually mentioned, I don't know if it was on Monday or Wednesday or vlogging or something. I mentioned how I wish that Taylor Swift, this is such a bad comparison, but I wish that Taylor Swift, but also like actually not a bad comparison because this whole thing with Taylor is not even this bad. And yeah, I wish that she would do what Cassie did basically, which is she took responsibility for loving him and that side of things, and she was also clear about the things that were she was not okay with. Um, yeah, if everyone would do that, the world would be a better place. But I can also see that people like that could be taken advantage of by some. So yeah, and it took a while for her to say that. Um, But yeah, like the Taylor Swift thing is not even, I mean, imagine just completely nothing compared to what Cassie, is doing. And I'm, I have, my thoughts on the whole Taylor Swift thing. I pulled some articles. Like, I don't even get it. It's so confusing. It's mixed message. Like, she, didn't say anything about Brian Friedman's letter, but then she's, her sources are, I don't know, it's like wishy-washy. I don't even know what to believe. And it's like, come on, have a little bit more morality, I guess, to me. Maria, we have an exercise trail that goes from, okay, people exercising on the night. Wow, that's awesome. Yeah. That's all. Like, do you see? I know I'm like behind on the chats. Maria, do you see people like the same regulars that you run into? Do you have like those like, function or whatever bars and like little things on the side, or is it just walking? Does that make sense? Like, where you do just like pull ups randomly along the trail or something like that. I get it, that's fair. I don't understand why his daughters would be okay hearing what he did at this trial, as they already knew. I mean, why do you say that they're okay? Because that's, I feel like, an assumption that they are okay. Do you mean that, like, why are they there? Like, why do, so to speak, I don't know how old they are, because they're the youngest, right? Why the adults let them be there? Is that what you're trying to say? Oh, I was like looking up this guy. Shoot. Oh, if you eat blueberries and walnuts, apparently it's great. Yeah, this guy. I did watch that video, the Prince video, and I'm like, oh, I did not know that. That was an interesting video. I think just from Andy's, just Blake recap, but he mentioned the Bieber thing, like how Justin Bieber wasn't related to this. And I mean, I would be very surprised if he was, based on that one video that showed him extremely uncomfortable around Diddy. So I would be very surprised that he partook in anything. I don't know. I mean, yeah, he seemed very uncomfortable. Besides, like, maybe that one time, but yeah. I had someone that I would do anything for anything. It's crazy to hear out loud how someone takes advantage of that. Yeah, yeah. Boundary lessons can be tough because some folks will take advantage. Everyone wants to be a lawyer. No, it's not illegal, but my word is wrong. My daughters leave during certain parts. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, like doing the lively thing, I can understand your statement with everyone wants to be a lawyer. um I was watching on that Andy show. I don't know who she was, I forget her name. I really don't know who she was. I'll include this guy if any of you want to watch his. I like his videos, honestly. I just, it's like very, the case itself is hard. It just makes me really afraid. I don't know. It just makes me really scared. Um Wait, where is it? Was it alive? Maybe it was alive. Yeah. Wait, was it that or the other one? I did not watch. I just watched, I think, just this one. I wonder if it just autoplayed at one point and I did. Oh, yeah, for that one. Yeah, so Emily Hagen. I don't know who she is, but it makes me think of your statement, April, that everyone wants to be a lawyer, because it's so tempting especially if you're covering things and then you get in the weeds and you're learning the legal jargon, and you feel empowered. You feel like, ooh, there's this power. I can know stuff, and I can like argue stuff. And yeah, yeah, uh, it's really hard to be a lawyer in real life. But yeah, I also agree with you, Pete. Boundary lessons are really hard in the coachings that I do. I think about this. There was something, I think, in today's stuff. I don't know. But yeah, it was not Taylor Swift related. Oh, who it was it? I can't remember. But yeah, boundaries are hard to figure out for yourself. Very important to figure out for yourself, but hard for a number of reasons. And then also this maybe even harder to like express them and lay them out and then enforce them. It's so hard. And then also to not over enforce them. A lot of people do this mistake where they're like suddenly like super clear. Every boundary is a clear boundary. Every boundary is like to the T. There's no nuance, has to be enforced. You're too close, whatever. Like there's a lot of at least back in the day, a lot of kind of people would laugh at Americans for their personal bubbles, in a way that like it was just like too extreme, you know. And I've talked about like a place where there's like no hugging, like that's just like wrong. That's not human. And I might have said that in my vlog, and I'm kind of really behind on vlogs, but they're going to be coming out, all of them, this weekend. Um, but yeah, like it's not human. It's you're then wanting a robot to work for you, to be your friend or partner or whatever, if you have like such, especially like coworkers, like such strict boundaries. Like it's like healthy boundaries are not like, it depends. It's they're flexible, but not flexible to, oh gosh, anything that I say is like not good enough right now. And but that's the thing. It's like it's so nuanced, and some people forget that nuance. I had coaches that were like, "Oh, yes, I'm working on my boundaries." And I'm like, I can tell because you're enforcing boundaries that don't really make sense for your line of work, but okay, you do that. Um, but yeah, you can, it's more likely that people don't have boundaries or aren't enforcing them. And yeah, it's hard. Um, I mean, even me, like I clicked on this video, like it was really hard, even though I knew I didn't want to be exposed to it. Uh, but I clicked on it, and it's an hour and 17 minutes long, and I watched all of it. And it was like late at night too. So it was like, it was really hard. But did I cross my boundary? Yes, I did. But I didn't cross it again. Um, but I'm like, even now you asking, I'm like, oh, I'm so curious because I see it. It's 3 days that she's been on. The whole week, I don't know. Everyone wants to be a lawyer now. It's not. Oh, you know what? I do have a question for you guys, and I did have this question because Andy made such a huge deal out of it, and I was waiting. Like, oh my gosh, what's the bombshell? And then there was nothing that I heard, and maybe he just like said it in a way that wasn't really direct. The white nails, if any of you know, you know. Like Andy made such a big deal, like, oh my gosh, like, and Kim was like horrified when she was like, yeah, that's like the worst thing. I'm like, I don't get it. I don't get it. And I mean this respectfully. I didn't understand that. So if anyone knows, let me know in the chat, or in the comments, replay. Um, but yeah, listening to the horrible things he did. Yeah, I think they're 18 and 19. Okay. Um, I think, I will say that, like, I think it's a pretty bad decision for the kids to be there at this trial. I mean, everything is pretty much said in the media anyways, so they're kind of like, they can't escape it, but people oftentimes don't treat, like, our minds are strong but also fragile, and you don't want unnecessary trauma to people that are, they don't need it anymore or at all. And I think regardless, yeah, 18, 19, people will say, oh, they're old enough. No, they're not. I got this, someone was saying about something else, like, James Charles or whatever. I think I said this already, like, with it's Keisha, like, oh, he's 25 or 26 or however, like, you're a grown man. No, he's not. Does anyone remember 25 and 26? You are a child. You are a child, especially in the US. You are a child. It is because, and I say especially in the US, there's something to, like, the maturity. When you're going through hard times, you mature quicker. So if you're, like, in a country, in a place where you had to do that, or even here in the US, but generally, like, you, and maturing fast is not like under trauma. Under trauma, that's not maturing fast. But, like, just like harder times with food or whatever. 18 and 19 is a child. That is pretty bad. That I find that really, it sucks for them. It sucks for them anyways. And yeah, I mean, if I I can't even think of them, any of the children being involved. I know back in whenever this all started coming out, I watched, I think, on Jamal's channel or somewhere, that at least one of the boys, I don't even know how many kids he has, they were like partaking in it or whatever. Which sadly, I'm not surprised, because it's just so easy. Guys, I feel like it's so interesting because of the way our society is. I feel like guys are so easily influenced. All you have to do to a guy is kind of just make some sort of reference to whether they're like weak or strong, and you can play them. Not every guy, but like majority, because we teach guys to like withhold their feelings, shove them down, don't have feelings. You are basically, you cross your own boundaries all the time, but in a different way than women do. It's really kind of messed up. I don't know that I'm making much sense. So I wouldn't be surprised at that, sadly. Um, yeah, and just like, yeah. Anyways, but yeah, are the same age he got his hooks and Cassie. Yeah, she was so young. Oh man. It just like what I heard just in that first or whatever day two, her first day, just that alone is like, that's so sad. That's just so sad. It also makes you think of how, I mean, because she, I think, is forever marked. Like, that stuff doesn't, even when you heal, like, it doesn't go away. Like, you will always have that, as an experience. You can't just erase that part of your experience. And was it like in Minority Report they did that or something? So it's so sad. She didn't ask for it. So yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone asked for anything like that. Um, yes, regular and new people, running, bicycling, walking. Okay. So you don't have those like little stations of like workout stuff. I hate to bring them into this, but consider how Kris Jenner set her girls up for success. Yeah. And Diddy, nothing for his. He is ultimate narcissist. Yeah. I don't know, narcissist, or maybe like, there's some other words. I don't think that, I'm careful to use the word narcissist, because a lot of times people use that word. I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying, he might be something worse. That's what I'm trying to say. And it would be like a disrespected narcissist. I know that sounds really weird. I know that, like, from talking to a friend a few years ago, um, narcissism, the narcissism people talk about online, even on Omar's page, like, and even he was he was onto it correctly, but he wasn't sure. But yeah, people confuse narcissists with other people, other DSM type things. Not that they're not bad and they can be bad, but like, uh, it might be coupled with something else for it to be as bad as like the cliche. Um, but yeah, I mean, yeah, they do have empathy. Um, Only psychopaths don't have empathy, like physically. Um, but they might not be able to use it. It might be atrophied or something, because like narcissists are basically people that are in the most extreme way insecure, and so they have to mask with like, I'm the best, I'm the most beautiful, etc., because they are so hurting inside, but it's on the subconscious level, so they're not aware of it for like a short thing. But that's like, also you can't diagnose someone just like with that phrase. That's not for diagnosis, that's just like for understanding. I still don't get the white nails thing, other than in being weird thing with his mom participate. Yeah, that's what I think Andy was sort of saying, but he didn't really like explain himself. He was like, "Oh my gosh, this is like horrible," and then he did allude to that mom thing, but like he didn't say anything. So I'm so confused. I'm still very confused. Um, yeah, I don't know. Besides like the level of control, and yeah, I don't know. I do think, because this Emily girl pointed out, like, white nails or white French tip kind of thing, and how like Diddy's lawyer has those nails. I wonder if she changed them after hearing that. But yeah, I was like, yeah, I could. Who knows? Who knows? She also mentioned how charismatic he is in person, this Emily Hagen. And yeah, so that's why I'm like, I think it's like, it's something worse that he is. But yeah, like, it's so interesting how some people, because yeah, to me on the screen, oh shoot, my laptop. Where is it? On the screen, he's not that charismatic, did he? Like, yeah, I remember liking, I don't know, liking him. Sorry, I need to like, um, I remember feeling the same way like I felt with Blake Lively. Sorry about this. How? Let me put it. No, hold on. All right. How, when you just see their marketing, the way that they're marketed, they look great. I mean, who markets someone badly? Who markets themselves badly? So I remember Blake Lively, I liking her up to like A Simple Favor 1, just because after that I didn't hear about her. So I didn't care about her one or another. And with Diddy, I remember, yeah, like maybe not after J-Lo, I think. Gosh, I don't remember. I think it was, oh my God, which this looks so bad now, but when J-Lo was with whatever his name is, A-Rod or whatever. A-Rod and J-Lo and P. Diddy. It's like, what are these people with their like initials? Okay, anyways, but yeah, so I remember how like she was vlog, like having vlogs or something, and Diddy made an appearance on one, and how they still talk or something. They're still friends, which is not great right now, is it? I'm so curious because I do feel like there's something to the rumors that Ben and J Lo, divorced because of this. I don't know what that means, but I believe those rumors just because it was a high coincidence that it was at the same time that Diddy was arrested. So I like I like J Lo, but like I don't know what's going on there. Um, so yeah, but yeah, with the mom, yeah, people are talking about that. I remember a video about them having IVs together. It doesn't, I don't know. I've not seen anything that's like them together, but them participating, in the whole stuff. It's so weird. But also at the same time, there are certain things that I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what to say. Like maybe I'm sensitized to it. I don't know by what, because it's not something that I watch or hear about it all the time or any time really. But yeah, I don't know. To me, that's not the most disturbing thing. Whatever that says about me or whatever. Um, Maybe because it is, yeah, it's kind of like it's wrong. It's disturbing, but like I just feel a lot of other things are a lot more disturbing. I made such horrible decisions in my 20s. Yeah, oh my gosh, yeah. And I wasn't even like a really like bad decision person. I still made bad decisions. When I look back, I'm like, oh wow, that was, and at that time I was like, oh, like, yeah, this is not great, but it's not like horrible. And now I'm like, wow, I was so like naive. Thank goodness I didn't go through with that. Thank goodness I didn't go through with that, because like what was I thinking? Um and yeah, like, and even just like something silly as like crushing on people or liking people, and you're like, oh my gosh, thank goodness that guy didn't want me, or that didn't work out. You look back at that stuff. And for Cassie, it seems like it was unfortunate because it matched. And yeah, I literally won't get them because of the association. Oh, the white nails. So the empathy is broke. Yeah, yeah. I like that. I like that metaphor, analogy. Yeah, it's not non-existent but broke. It's broken. It's like not functioning. Yeah, because like I mean, think about when you're like in high, if you've ever been in like high self um protection mode, you really can't care about anyone else when you're like starving, like actual starvation, or I don't know if any of us have experienced that truly, but like if anything that's like a danger to our self preservation, to us staying alive, whether it's emotional, physical, etc., um, our empathy will kind of, that's secondary because we come first. It's just like biology, it's human biology. Um, and so, yeah, like that's, I guess, what narcissists kind of are like. It's not that they're like, they don't have it. They can have it if they um, heal that part. But it's also kind of so impossible because it's so hard to break through that. And I had, I think, a therapist tell me, like, if you're questioning, because I was like, am I a narcissist? Like, because I think I was going through definitely a lot of what like psychology students go through. I remember this like Frasier episode when someone called in and he was like, I don't know if I have this and this like personality disorder or whatever. And he's like, are you in like psychology, are you getting a psychology degree or whatever? And he's like, yeah, I'm second year or whatever he was saying. This was in the show. And he's like, okay, yeah, that's, that's what's happening. You're okay. You're fine. You don't have any of these, but you're learning about these. And so you're like questioning yourself, and that's great. And my therapist basically said the same thing. It's like a narcissist will never question if they're a narcissist because they are so fragile to being any kind of faulty, because if they're faulty, they've learned, because this is also you narcissism you don't get born with. That's why I was saying, like, with psychopathy, that's something biological. You get born, or sometimes with accidents, like brain accidents, where like a certain part of the brain, I don't know where, I don't know, is taken out, or just you're not born with it. That's where like the connection, empathy, etc. comes in. And but yeah, narcissism is bred, is created through circumstances. So I don't know exactly what those are. I can't speak to that. I can speak to like attachment styles, but not anything like this. And I actually didn't. I don't think I looked this deep into it, but I know that it's created, and then I think of it like in terms of, because people talk about Blake and Ryan being narcissists, and I mean, even I had kind of a whole video dedicated, is she a narcissist, and going through the signs, the potential signs or whatever. And the thing is, we don't know, because so many things can look like it, and you know but yeah, to the broken thing. What was I saying? What did I mean to say? um oh yeah, like, so they feel like any fault that they have is like life or death. So if you criticize them, that's why, like, it's like war, because that means, like, if they're bad, if they're broken, they don't exist anymore. They are in danger. They're like in actual danger. Just like with anxiety, it's like technically not real, but like in our mind it is. And they will get abandoned. They will get, tossed out of society if they're not the best. If basically, if they have any fault at all. And so, like, they're trying to protect that at whatever cost. And that's kind of, and it is kind of like what we see with Blake. I mean, with this lawsuit, the lawsuit itself on Blake Lively's side, whether it's them or just, I think I'm talking more like in terms of like the lawsuit as an entity, their side in the lawsuit as an entity, not particularly the people, because I'm including the way that her representatives and her lawyers keep responding. It's like they're fighting in such an extreme way, that it kind of makes me think of that. I don't know. But I'm not I'm not a psychologist. I can't diagnose. I'm just like theorizing with you guys. And I'm sharing the little that I know, that I've heard, that I've learned. I've been discussing Maslow hierarchy of needs lately with my man. It plays, oh my gosh, I can't breathe. It plays such a huge role in our lives and how we treat people. Yeah, yeah. I have started telling people right now, hey, like, I don't have many people to tell this to, but even like when people that I meet new, and we have like a connection, like, oh, not like, let's be friends, kind of. If we were kids, we probably would say that. And I try to let people know, like, hey, I am going through stuff. I'm like trying to figure myself out, and I might not be the best version of me. I might not be, I know I'm not the best version of me, and I might not be great, because some of my, and I didn't think of this, but I'll include this. Some of my hierarchy needs are not met. So, it is a lot more about me now, and it sucks. It's really weird. I hate it, but I can't change it, because I mean, I can only change it by meeting the needs. So it's a process. And yeah, but yeah, I think that's like such a great, I'm gonna highlight that just because I don't know if it shows up. Yeah, because that's such a great thing for us to remember when we're dealing with anyone and everyone. Um, yeah, just to have more empathy. Not everyone that does bad things is a bad person. Most people on this planet are really good people that are victims basically of really bad stuff. And unfortunately, especially once adult, we are kind of in charge of fixing the stuff that broke us, even though we didn't ask for it. Um, but yeah, it's good to keep in mind, anyways, that, like someone that snaps at you, someone that's like really mean to you or awful to you, like there's this exceptions obviously, and also having boundaries is still healthy. It doesn't mean to just discard your boundaries, but to keep in mind when you're enforcing the boundaries to enforce them from a good place rather than just like anger and not understanding that they're probably suffering through something. You can still have boundaries with people that are going through things. But I think it changes how we end up enforcing those boundaries, not enforcing, but like stating those boundaries if we think of that. I wonder if this is actually, I can't believe this goes so perfectly into this other, there's a random thing that I had to share. This is Jaime Camille. He played Rogelio on Jane the Virgin. And I mean, this is like so perfectly timed. Let me
that you've learned in life.
That people don't have your same morals or your same ethics. There are way more people that will try to take advantage of you and they will con you. Not many people will do the right thing to do.
How did you learn that?
The majority.
Why do you think that?
By having personal experiences with people that you think they're gonna act a certain way, and then they surprise you and you're like, wow, I never saw that coming. It's frustrating, it's sad, you feel betrayed. It's horrible, it's fucking horrible, but you cannot let that define you. You have to be resilient and you have to move on and understand that life goes on.
You seem like an optimistic person to me. Or am I putting that on you?
No,
You're really
that's totally
optimist.
accurate. That's totally accurate. And that's why I want to teach to my kids. And even though I want to teach them to be cautious and have precautions in life, I also want them not to be assholes. Like, I don't trust anyone and everybody's gonna take advantage of me. No, it's like, be positive in life, but also take care of yourself.
And so that last part specifically is what I meant by like, oh my gosh, this is perfect timing or perfect segue. Because I love how he says it. Like, a lot of time, that's like with boundaries too. A lot of times people are like, yeah, so suspicious, so guarded, so like everyone's terrible. Everyone will take advantage of you. Everyone thinks about themselves. And that's basically dismissive avoidant attachment style. Like everyone's out for themselves, and I'm going to be out for myself because no one will have my back. I will have no one's back. No one has, you have to just take care of yourself because no one else will, kind of a mindset. But yeah, that's technically just dismissive avoidant attachment kind of, but yeah. But I love that he kind of spoke about like, yeah, people it's also really interesting to think about probably how Justin feels about Blake Lively. It's like, yeah, and I think people who have called Justin spineless, I think it was basically kind of missing this puzzle piece where he just expected her to be as good as he is and as moral as he is, and what you see is what you get, and it wasn't like that from what we've seen. I don't know, allegedly. So yeah, I think that first part speaks to that. Love this kind of person. You get hurt but you don't forget the good. Yeah, it's so hard sometimes. It's really hard. But yeah, it's necessary. It's hard, man. It's hard. Right now it's hard. Just to like tackle these like little tidbits. I'm not gonna play much of this, but nope, nope, okay. And there's a 100-year-old woman that, well, I don't know that she did a 5-minute playing because the um the count supposedly was like 2.5 or 3 minutes. So that was a little confusing. But even that, I cannot do a minute. I cannot do a minute plank. And I'm not even half her age. I'm less than half her age. So I just put this for our inspiration. Like, it's never too, well, it's never too late. It is too late, but she kind of says, just keep active. Just don't stop moving. Just keep active. My grandparents are kind of similar in that they always walked. They walked all the time. And when they stopped walking, it became harder, like physically for them. But I think it helped them get to where they are still. And then this is like a funny one, and just this is selfishly included because I did this. I parked. You can't really tell. I think this is, yeah, you can tell here. I parked like this recently. Well, a few months ago, but yeah. And I got out, I got in and I got out, and I was so freaking proud of myself. I'm like, yes, I knew I was a great driver. So I just included that selfishly. I actually did not watch, whoops, sorry. I did not watch the whole thing. I just kind of skipped around because it's tedious. Because it's like really like tiny, like back and forth. But you can get out. But I just like, because people can park so selfishly, so stupidly, and they just have this waste of space that you can fit into. So I'm like, I'm not gonna, what? No, I'm not gonna waste this space. It's here. I'm gonna use it. So, nope, sorry. So yeah, I included that. It gives you back pain if you don't keep active. Yeah, well, I have back pain right now with activity. And like knee pain, just everything pain if you're not active. That's why I'm like really happy with my Zumba. It's the least I can, literally the least. I need to do so much more than that. But yeah, strength training for women, especially. Ironically, because my mom definitely is like the opposite of strength training in her mind, because she has the idea of like, no, slim woman, skinny basically. And I'm trying to tell her, like, nah, there's like some science that says other things now. And yeah, and especially for bone, that to me is so weird and contradictory. Like, how can your bone grow, like the density of your bone grow through strength training, like, lifting weights? Like, it just, I hear it, I'll take their word for it, but my mind is still like not caught up. Like, it doesn't make sense because it's like you're working the muscles, you know? Anyways, speaking of which, I need to take more calcium and things. Oh, and then this thing. Sorry, and then I'm going to get to the main topic. The James Charles, right? Whole thing. I just wanted to, I guess, maybe also get your thoughts on this, because I'm like, who speaks like this? But I screenshotted this before. It's Keisha, for anyone who doesn't know. She's awesome. She's literally awesome. I love her. I wish I could be like her. But yeah, I screenshotted this before. She also echoed what I was saying, because I was like, I think I'm just too old. I think this is some Gen Z situation over here. So this is this one girl, Kayla, texting James. If you don't know these people, I would not worry about it. YouTubers. But basically, she was in a probably, I think, a DV type of relationship, and he didn't know, so he's like, do you want, um for, I think, for Valentine's Day, do you want to be in a painted video with your man? James said, or whatever his name is. And she's like, I'm not even joking, this made me do that. I broke up with him last night. Like, I don't understand these texts. I think it's still Gen Z. The way that both me and it's Keisha, who I would consider she's Gen Z because she's pretty young. What we didn't, neither of us got, was the heart emojis. If you're telling someone, oh, they were married. Wow, okay, so it wasn't even boyfriend, it was husband. Anyways, so if you are saying like, oh my gosh, again, and I wonder if this is like Blake too, who talks like when you're going through like a serious situation and you're telling someone like, so no, not serious, stop. Sorry. um when you're telling someone like, no, actually, like, I just broke up with them, they're really bad news, they like did things to me, whatever, why would you put heart emojis? And so it's so interesting because if you do know about this situation, you know that he's not looked at really good, James Charles, because is that his name? I think it's his name. He basically ended up having a supposed alleged relationship or something with this guy. He denies it, but I mean, he seems pretty level-headed and normal in this, because he's like, what? And she says that, and he says, what happened? And his emojis are like accurate to the situation. I think they're like the, like scrunched, I don't know, whatever. But he does say, can I have him now, which is bad taste. But anyways, I think he said something like, I'm not kidding, or something, Kayla, you deserve better. And then she keeps going with the heart and the painted nails, and like, what is this? And then he's still taking it more seriously than I would. I would just be like, I don't really want to talk to her. This girl is like, what is wrong with her? She's not making sense. She's telling me that her husband is like, I don't know, DV'd her or whatever, and then having heart emojis and eye heart emojis and painted nails. Oh, because it's like his painted nail, whatever. Still, yeah. Anyways, I just wanted to share that because I just don't get this generation. I sound like such an old person. I just don't get this generation. I guess I should be more specific. I don't get the generation, the social media generation of Gen Z generation, if that makes sense. Yeah. Hold on, sorry. Oh yeah, I have this. Okay, before this is, believe, the last thing. Let's see. Oh, by the way, guys, how I was saying that I did not like Suits LA? I started watching it again because I have nothing that I found that I want to watch. And it's kind of in that, it's like, okay, whatever. And also I think because I think I started last night because I was like craving more of the craziness that just happened with Gottlieb and Friedman and all of the stuff. I was like, who's doing a show on this stuff right now? Suits are literally, they went to LA with entertainment lawyers, so here we go. And yeah, it was interesting. It's okay, it's getting better. I still don't like the guy, whatever his name is, Arrow. Gosh, I don't remember his name. I still don't like it. don't like him in this role. Like I don't like him in this role. He's not, I want to say he's not a good actor, but like he has like good actor moments, but he's just like not, maybe I just don't like his personality. I just don't like how he gestures and talks and exists, like as a gesturing person, if that makes sense. But there was one story where, talking of boundaries, April, one of the lawyers, someone close to her, passed away, and she was going to ask for like him to take over her dinner with they the other part that's really annoying is they keep mentioning all these celebrities and never seeing them. And then the worst part is like now they have the one episode I'm on is like with David Bowie, but it's not David Bowie, it's this like thug basically. It's like mafia thug. Is that a thing? Are those two the same, like are those two in the same world, or are those like separate words from separate worlds? I don't know. And yeah, but David Bowie this and David Bowie that, and I'm like, this is just ridiculous. This is like, no, this is stupid. But yeah, so it was an interesting scene because he said, I would prefer not to, basically, but I will if you really need me to. But I would highly prefer not to. And she just let it be that way. And then she had resentment because no one showed up for her and she couldn't attend this, like, I don't know, visitation with her parents that went to visit this person's home or something to like say goodbye. And I'm like, this is a great example for boundary talk because, especially with attachment styles, I was taught like they whisper needs, or they whisper boundaries. They whisper things, not boundaries. Boundaries, they're quite loud, but needs, they whisper. And then they get upset and they're like, see, yeah, I knew that no one had my back. Everyone is selfish. Everyone's talking about themselves, or like thinking about themselves, doing things for themselves. And no one heard me. I asked for this and I didn't even get acknowledged, or I got acknowledged but denied, whatever. But the thing is, like, they didn't actually express as loud as they think they did. And I think of that in the boundary session, in the boundary conversation, because yeah, sometimes we say boundaries, but don't quote unquote enforce them, or we're such people pleasers that like we're like, the other person says, yeah, if you really want me to, but I really don't want to. And it's like, oh, I can't have them dislike me. So I'm going to like, oh yeah, that's fine. It's okay. She didn't say that, but whatever. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that. Like, I don't know, some food for thought. I don't know. It's real. Oh shoot, what did I say to that, April? Um, talked about that, talked about that, talked about that, blah, 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 blah. Awesome. Final thing, this is not the main topic, but this was more than an appetizer, but I guess it's still an appetizer, honestly. Trigger warning, as this is like mom stuff, child stuff. I came across, it's as if YouTube read my mind, but not in that moment, but just something that it's been popping in and out of my mind. Um, there was this video, podcast, it's not a video actually, it's just sound. Esther Perel, I don't know. I forget how you pronounce her name, but she's like awesome. I saw her on a TED Talk and all these podcasts. She's pretty cool. I don't know too much about her to know like she's like super on it. The only person that I feel like I can really back up what they say, and I know that if they say something, it's like 9 out of 10 really accurate, is Dr. Kirk Honda. I don't think I've ever shared that guy's channel with you. But I've heard of her and she seems really cool. And sorry, this is Dr. Kirk Honda. He is awesome. I cannot suggest him enough. He is just so awesome. Wow, that's a great. That was not one of the first things that I wanted to see. Yeah, the only thing is that he's doing these members only things now, and I'm like really not happy with that. But besides that, he used to cover 90 Day Fiancé, and this is why I really loved the show even more, because I learned so much about friendships, about issues in friendships that you don't even think exist until you watch, because he was covering Darcy and Stacy, which was a spin-off of 90 Days, and these are the two. And yeah, I'm sure he'll talk about the Diddy trial. He talked about the Johnny Depp trial. And he's so, like, he is not only a therapist, but he teaches, I forget where, somewhere in Seattle. Anyways, but yeah, he's so, like, anything and everything that I've seen him talk about is mind-blowing and just accurate, which is weird to say because he probably is more of an authority than me. But like, when you're like critically thinking, some people are like, I don't know if you're like that accurate. It sounds like maybe there's a little bias in there or something. I don't know. To me, he's like super on it. So I would highly recommend him. I'll include that link in my description. And in the chat, because I mean, I really love him that much. Like, I think he's one of my top like recommended channels or whatever in my description on my YouTube channel. But anyway, so yeah, I don't know that much about her, but I've heard about her. But this popped up, and I commented. I kind of stand by, maybe it was an insensitive comment, but I don't think it was a comment lacking in empathy. And I mentioned this not so much because of this issue, but because this is, I feel like, a YouTube thing in general. There's trolls, okay? There's people who they go on your, video or X post or Instagram post or Facebook or whatever, and it seems like they didn't even watch whatever you posted or read whatever you posted, and they just like say just something negative, or they did but they're just like super negative. Okay, cool. But then there's people who are engaging in a discussion, and discussion is not, I don't believe that we're here to just validate everything and to, again, cross our boundaries and just like kind of people please, and it's all about, this person. I think, like, we've had disagreements on here, or other people that have come in have had the disagreements. Like, I think of the Meghan Markle video, or Megan Sussex, whatever. And I think there's a difference between trolls and people who just have a different opinion and different mindset. And it might be uncomfortable for us and it might be triggering for us, but it doesn't mean it's bad. And I really like and I encourage discussion, and I feel the same way about videos. And I feel very strongly that if I would post this video, I don't know how she feels about this, but if I would post this video, I would hope for a discussion. I wouldn't be looking for just yes people, if that makes sense. All I said was lucky, and again, insensitive, okay. Lack of empathy, I don't think those are the same things. Maybe you disagree with me. I said, lucky to be able to have the means to freeze eggs too, because some of us don't even have a way to do that. This was like in relation to something that it was said at the beginning. but yeah. And I mean, there's so much to this story, so much more to this story, and I only watched this much because it was a bit too triggering, I guess, to me right now. But it's something because I the hardest part about not having a child yet is not that I wanted to have children in my 20s, and anything after 30, especially after 35, to me was like I can't. That's old lady. And I've kind of come to terms with that, like, okay, I'm actually probably a better mom now than I would have been in my 20s, because I've dealt with a lot of things, I've healed some things, or at least I know a lot that I need to heal. But it's the thing that I likely don't have the option, because I don't have the money and the means to freeze my eggs. And so it's like, it's not like, the other part is I can't just go on dating, and I don't want to just like sleep around with people just to get pregnant. And both of those are just not an option because of where I am right now, recovering, healing, whatever. So yeah, so that's where I came from, and it was a hurt comment, a comment, an insensitive comment from a hurt place. At the same time, I think also I feel like I would want these spaces to be safe for my viewers, and you know if this was me, or even here on this YouTube channel that I have, that if you're going through something and you're like, well, at least you have this, again, yeah, I might have, it might not feel good for me, or I might feel triggered or whatever, but like, I would like it for you to feel safe to do that. I didn't get a reply from Esther, but I got 13 likes, and then I got a reply from someone that said, lucky you have a phone. I'm sorry, that's just like, I feel like that's such like a petty comment, like a teenage girl or something. Some people don't. This is about her situation. Can you have some empathy for people with more privilege? I'm not gonna lie, that the way that she phrased, or he phrased, whatever, the way that they phrased this, definitely didn't sit the best with me. But yeah, anyways, if not, then let's not forget our privileges, because like, it almost sounds like Me Too being Men Too, and Black Lives Matter being All Lives Matter. And I was one of the people at the beginning that said, like, yeah, all lives matter. And then I understood a little bit more. And I was like, well, yeah, no, I take that back. But that's kind of what it sounds like, It's like, well, can't you have empathy for the privileged? It's like, first of all, and I said, like, I didn't say anything that was lacking in empathy. Was it insensitive? That doesn't mean I'm lacking in empathy. If anything, like, I was there, like, really choking up and crying over this, and that's like something that sparked my comment, was like, I empathized with her. I felt it. And so I kind of spoke my truth or whatever, but I can understand it was insensitive. Um, and yes, like, I do agree that people with privilege also matter. And, a lot of us are very privileged already. Um, so yeah, I get that. But I don't know. I just feel like I get very defensive of the word empathy, or like certain words, like psychology words that people like misuse. And I got very like strong about that. Like, it's not the same thing. You're not talking about the same thing. Anyways. So I said, I don't think I'm the one with the lack of empathy in your case. That was also petty. Yeah. Your words have weight just as mine as you're pointing out, or just as much as you're pointing out mine have. I'm speaking from a hurt place. Where are you speaking from? I like go in and out of pettiness here. um, You don't know what I've been dealing with. I was expressing that I wasn't withholding empathy from the speaker. However, where is your empathy for of me and people like me who don't have these means? We should just suffer in silence. This is a public discussion forum, so treat it that way, not like an authoritarian. That was a little too strong of a word, and I was like, what's a better word? This is not even a good word for this, but I couldn't find it. Place where everyone who has a slightly different view or experience needs to, yeah, don't treat it like they need to be shamed and fear speaking up where they feel like, wow, I suck at writing, where they feel like might be a safe space. Right. On a topic that feels very unsafe in a lot of ways. Check yourself too. What I meant by that last part was basically my whole point, which is this. It was very scary even to comment on this. It is something that is just very scary for me to address and to speak up on. So I felt like because this topic was presented, I felt safe to present my viewpoint or where I'm coming from or my experience. And again, not in the best way, in a petty way, in an insensitive way. But I just felt like replying because I'm like, okay, I'm not the only person that needs to think a little bit more before like replying to something. And also because when the 13 people that did like my comment, they're probably feeling the same way. And so what message are you sending to people in that space that don't have the means and are reading this and feel the same thing? And it's not like taking away from the speaker, but like, again, I just don't feel like YouTube is a place where like there's like a difference between trolling and disagreeing or having a different opinion or even like challenging. And it just makes me think of like, the time where people were like, let's, take away all the books that are triggering or whatever, they're offending people. And that was like during, I think, one of the Obama administration points, because I remember he spoke like, no, that's not a good idea. You can't just avoid what's like uncomfortable. You have to like face what's uncomfortable and have discussions about it. Man, I miss all the presidents before now. I even saw um Bush Jr. Talk about, what did he talk about? Oh, I think immigrants so nicely. Anyways, but yeah. You're good as a Black woman. I appreciate how thoughtful and careful you are. I don't know if that was like all related in one, but yeah. I appreciate you saying that. I try really hard. It's not easy. Like, we are all biased. We all have our viewpoints. We all have our triggers. We say things, and I'm trying my best to at least like think, even though like it's really hard. I'm not really waiting maybe as long as I should wait to respond to certain things or whatever, but I have been a little bit more vocal than I otherwise would have. I just feel like, I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, and I mess up all the time, but I'm trying, and I think that's good. Again, I think that there is the extreme of not being sensitive enough and the extreme of being too sensitive, and I'm trying to be in the middle, and I'm trying to co-create that with other people that are creating that. I don't know. I don't expect anyone to be perfect. I expect me to be perfect, but I'm trying not to expect me to be perfect because it's not working out great for my mental health to expect that. But like, I don't know, somewhere in the middle, trying my best, trying to do good, and trying to. There's so much to learn. It's just like you'll never get it right ever, because there's always something you don't know about something. Like with I've talked about with racism and things, like it's such an evolution of me understanding it, from as someone who wasn't born in this country to people who weren't born to this country and who were in their bubble in Romania that didn't have anything close to slavery or anything like that. So besides, like, they were technically enslaved by the Turkish Empire, but that's a whole other thing. They were the same, well, different religion, kind of different skin tone, but like, it wasn't quite like that stark to be able to kind of disassociate from people being people. So, like, that's where I come from. And also at an age before I really got into any of it in school, like history and things. So I came here and I'm still learning so much, and I'm still making mistakes, and I'm still like, whoa, I didn't think of that. And I'm still like shocked by how some people think. Like, I don't understand. Like, I don't understand. I just don't understand how this can just keep being, you know, passed down through generations. And it's such like a hard, complicated thing to stop. Is, I don't know. Anyways, the world is tough. But yeah, I'm still learning. So, all right, let's get to Blake Lively after those like heavier topics. Some heavy, some like lighter. I'm not gonna lie, I keep thinking about the Diddy trial. Like, oh, I'll probably watch some things. Not tonight, but like, I'm so curious now. I also think sometimes, like, if I watch, like, I'm exposed to things like just, having boundaries in terms of, hi, millennial mom. Yeah, yeah, you came and you missed all the fluff or whatever that was. Um, yeah, like with the Diddy trial, like watch, if I set myself some boundaries as far as like, okay, just watch, I don't know, 5 minutes, or like some particular channel, or like whatever, I don't know, reading the captions might be better for me. Because I do like Andy. He's doing a pretty good job recapping, Andy and Kim. I wouldn't want an article, because articles are made to invoke emotion. So I'm like trying to avoid anything that's like trying to invoke like dramatic emotion, if that makes sense. Diddy trial is beyond difficult here. Yeah. It's Keisha also, like, she posted like, I don't know, guys. I don't know if I want to post this, because I broke down in the middle of trying to make this video, and I was one of the comments. I commented on her saying like, I don't think I even want to watch anything anyone posts on this. It's a very, very difficult topic, very difficult and very triggering for so many people. It's a very sensitive one. It's a very sensitive one. So would this get me maybe more followers? Probably. Although, plenty of people are covering it, but not not worth it. All right. So Blake Lively, oh my gosh, the circus that was circusing yesterday. Yeah, it's deplorable. I'm guessing about the Diddy, not this, because I just started talking about this. Before getting into things, let me share. Have you guys heard about what does she call herself? I don't know. Lip reader girl. I don't know her name. I know her name here, Jackie G, but I don't think she goes by that on TikTok. Chaos Blake is something else. Yeah, yeah. But she's fun. I mean, let's take a moment and just be grateful that at least she's not Diddy. Like, I compare her to Trump, and I feel like even Trump, in a way, doesn't seem like Diddy. I feel like, I mean, that's a lot to say. I don't know. Maybe that's jumping the wagon. I don't know what, because I don't want to say the G word, but yeah, Blake is at least a fun time compared to it. Let's be grateful and talk about privilege. Look at that. Look how privileged we are that we're talking about Blake and not Diddy. So she covered this and I thought it was interesting. I don't know. I think that was the only one. I think that was the only one. She didn't do the mom, which I was surprised. Um, yeah. And then, oh, excuse me. This is just a trailer, and then this one has this, and it's just a word salad. It's not really anything salacious. Anyways, let's watch this.
Wait, I'm confused. What the heck? Oh god. I got it. Oh my god, how is this so intimidating? No, I know. Why is this exhausting? Oh my god. If someone were dating...
I love the voice she does for Blake, because it sounds so spot on for like the phrasing, but I don't know. It's just like, I don't know why that gets to me.
Oh my god. If someone were dating, she'd be like, okay, let's be quick, like, just kiss him. And then they'd be done, and then it'd be over. She'd be like, okay, want my family photo? Wait, I'm confused. What the heck? Oh god.
This is so weird. You're subscribed to her? Yeah, she's cool. I just knew her from TikTok. I didn't know about her on YouTube, so I'm glad she's on YouTube too. But yeah, like if this was a couple, they would just yell kiss her or kiss him or whatever.
If someone were dating, she'd be like, okay, let's be quick, like, just kiss him. And then they'd be done, and then it'd be over. She'd be like, okay, want my family photo? Wait, I'm confused. What the heck?
Yeah.
Oh god.
It's weird.
I got it. Oh my god.
It's weird. It's weird to be on a red carpet. Definitely uncomfortable. But yeah, and then the other one was this one.
You're such a darling girl.
Not bad. Wait.
You're such a...
I hate when my...
Hi. Okay. I'm gonna get on the even ground. If I do that, okay? I just like to... It's kind of dead. Do you wanna... Can I sign it with a pen? Is that okay? No, it's okay. I just want it to work. Hi. Here, let me take it. Here you go, smile. I don't think I do. Oh my god, I didn't. Oh my god, I didn't. I was looking at your hair. I mean, it depends.
Anyways, I don't know. That just kind of was funny to me. But anyways, so yesterday I was driving and I got to see on Wednesday I was doing my live in the middle of the day, and I quickly was like, let me glance over to court listener and see what's up. And I see this one little filing. It was well, the infamous 217. I think we all know the number, the docket number, the document number for this one. And I see this, and I'm like, what is this? Blah blah. And then if you saw my video or my live, you saw my reaction. And I was like trying to upload it. I was so upset because I saw it pretty much when it happened, very close to it, like minutes after. And I was like, I don't get this often where I get something before I see it somewhere else, you know? And because I've stopped reading these for so long. And I was so bummed because my stupid internet didn't work. And so it took me 4 hours to upload the one video. Anyways, but yeah, when I read this, I was clearly, like everyone else, shocked. Obviously, I kept saying, like, if this is true, I'll read it again a little bit, although everyone's like reading it. I'll just skip to the juicy part. The Wayfarer parties anticipate that Venable's motion to quash will be mooted in short order as their counsel and Venable are conferring in good faith. Now, this has been stricken from the record. However, we still have access to it. I'm kind of confused. I don't know. Maybe that's just a court listener issue. I don't know. But I think it's like, no, it's not said here strike, but yeah. I thought that was interesting because it's basically saying that, like, Venable's not opposed to it. it's kind of what it's implying. Um, yeah, I think I hear, like, I heard Omar say something similar to that. Like, that's what it seems, that they're like, okay, it's not that bad. We just don't want everything out. However, the lively defendant's insistence that the subpoena seeks irrelevant information is wrong. I said that the same last time. The subpoena aims to obtain discovery relating to witness tampering and evidence spoliation. I wonder if, like, he didn't use those strong words. This is the thing. I mean, how else would he use it? Because he's fighting for this, to stay relevant, to stay in, to not be quashed based on, nothing. So he's trying to show, like, no, this is, like, serious stuff, but it is also, like, a lot. So I kind of understand. I don't know, this one's, like, so tough. It's so tough as far as the judge's decision and the way that he phrased things to strike this. Yeah, I know. I think she's not here. Rose Wild, I think, commented, like, oh, the judge already strike the documents, and that he's biased. He seems biased. Um, he, and I said in my vlog yesterday, which you'll see, I don't know if you watch, like, later on. Yeah, I wouldn't jump. I literally, my first impression was, my first, like, instinct was, I wouldn't jump to him being biased just from one decision. And then secondly, after, and that was before I read, or I didn't read, I had Lauren read on her channel the judge's letter and decision, because I was driving. So I just listened to it. And I was like, yeah, this is not comfortable. This is not great. But, like, he didn't say, he didn't quash it, didn't, like, do anything. He didn't make any decisions. He also said it's not his decision to make. I do wish that he would have involved Gottlieb too, because, yeah, he was the one that first sort of, or, like, I don't know, his office, lively people were the ones that first, like, hey, this is happening in DC. This shouldn't be happening. It's not relevant or whatever. Which was, like, a huge red flag for all of us. Like, wait a minute, why are you hiding? Why are you trying to quash someone else's? Why are you getting in someone else's business? Like, just whatever. But yeah, but at the same time, like, yeah, he didn't say any decision on it or whatever. Sorry. When I was watching Omar and Lauren from last night, I was watching them today. They talked about how, my brain just, like, died again. How they're probably conferring, or, like, they're talking, they're discussing, I forget the word that he used, with the judge, like Friedman, Gottlieb, judge, whatever. They're all kind of probably talking off the public record, because that was not addressed as not happening, and that was going to happen or something, I forget. So we might see more after that, but we might not see anything, because, yeah, it's, I mean, these are strong accusations. And once you see them, you can't unsee them. I think that a lot of people don't know. I spent, I think 2 hours with my friend yesterday. She had no idea that this was happening, no idea about it. A lot of people don't know about it. So I don't think it reached that many people that they can't find a fair jury pool. But this is big, and it's really hard to tell who knows what. I don't know. So I understand also, like, this is a strong accusation. But then he had the strong accusations of SH against him, Justin. So, yeah. What I was saying yesterday was that, in my really unknowing opinion, Brian Friedman was I feel like between a rock and a hard place, because if he would have, and I think I said this on video, but I'll say it again, if he would have done a PR statement to a publication or whatever, then he would have been accused for doing PR stunts, and also could have put Taylor Swift in jeopardy if this is true, because then not being on a legal document, it would have had, like, now if if anything comes out from Taylor's phone, we all know who would do it, right? So in a way, I wonder if that was the point of this, just to like prevent that from happening if this is true, and not so much for this to keep going for as like a emotion or whatever. I don't know. But yeah, so the subpoena aims to obtain discovery relating to witness tampering and evidence spoliation. Specifically, the Wayfarer Parties Council are informed and believe, based on information from a source who is highly likely to have reliable information, that Miss Lively requested that Taylor Swift delete their text messages, and that Michael Gottlieb of Wilkie Farr, counsel for the Lively defendants, contacted a venerable attorney who represents Miss Swift and demanded that Miss Swift release a statement of support for Miss Lively, intimating that if Miss Swift refused to do so, private text messages of a personal nature in Miss Lively's possession would be released. So she gets to keep the text messages, but Taylor should delete them if this is true. The Wayfarer Parties Council are further informed and believe not, like, if this is true, there's no way in the world, because I hate saying in hell, that Blake is going to delete any of her text messages, or like not have them, because you can save them, have them somewhere off her phone or something, just in case she needs to use them. I don't believe that would be the case, that she wouldn't do that if this is true. Hypothetically, allegedly. I don't know. Yeah, so the Wayfarer Parties Council are further informed and believe that a representative of Miss Swift addressed these inappropriate and apparently extortionate threats in at least one written communication transmitted to Mr. Gottlieb. It is those, which is really odd, but yeah, it is those communications that the Wayfarer Parties seek to obtain by way of subpoena. As stated, the Wayfarer Parties Council are in active discussions with Venable to determine how to proceed. Should those discussions prove unfruitful, the Wayfarer Parties will either oppose the motion to quash or withdraw the current subpoena in favor of an amended subpoena seeking only the communication in question. So he's not even saying, oh, we're opposing the motion to quash. He's saying, like, give us a little bit more time because we're talking and trying to figure out, like, with them, like, basically, like, what are you doing here? This is not concerning you. This is kind of, yeah. And then Ezra. Is this a girl or a guy, Ezra? I thought it was a guy, but it's a girl. Let's see the chat before getting into this. Yeah, where are they getting involved? Behind the scenes only, yeah. Swift lawyer should be the one. Oops, none of my people know about it either. It's out there now. If texts are released, it was Blake who did it. Yeah. Wait, I'm confused. Oops, none of my people know about it either. I'm really confused by that. What do you mean by that, millennial mom? And then, yeah, behind the scenes only. Yeah. But yeah, like, I don't know. I thought, like, does anyone have eyes on... This sounds so weird. Does anyone have eyes on that procedure, on the Washington, D.C. court thing? Or is that not public? Because I think all the filings are public, right? Some kind of, maybe? Or maybe subpoenas are, I don't know. Um, yeah. Okay, so then Ezra comes back saying, on behalf of our client, Blake Lively, we respectfully move to strike the letter signed by Mr. Brian Friedman and filed earlier today. That letter, maybe Ezra was the one who wrote this because Gottlieb was so triggered that he couldn't write it straight. He couldn't write anything straight because of, I didn't read, I meant to pull up that. Did I pull up? Is it this? I think it was this, where Gottlieb said, yeah, this is categorically false. Instant. I remember it was instant. Sorry. It was instant that he came back. As a PR, this is categorically false. We unequivocally deny all of these so-called allegations, which are cowardly sourced to supposed anonymous sources, like their other actors and crew that will come, in support of Blake Lively that are not anonymous, because they are, and completely untethered from reality. This is what we have come to expect from the Wayfair party's lawyers, who appear to love nothing more than shooting first without any evidence, which that's what got to me, because literally is exactly the opposite. They have zero evidence. I think I said this on, I don't even know what video. They are the ones that have, Gottlieb, whatever, Lively side are the ones that have provided us 1% of evidence. That one Sony executive exchange of email or text message, I don't even remember. And I think that's it. Everything else that they've provided is other people's stuff. And, that was like kind of also, diced and spliced and whatever. But let's say that's also, in the 1%. But everything else is like, just trust me. In my own words, I'm telling you what I wrote to this person and what they wrote back to me. That is not evidence. So this is so full of hot air. I don't even know if that means what I think it means, but it's just so false. Like, the Wayfair side has provided hundreds of pages of evidence that they want to dismiss or whatever. Yeah, they created the motions to dismiss the amended complaint that Justin filed with the timeline and everything, that has so much evidence, so much in it. So BS. And with no care for the people they are harming in the process. That's big of him to say. Big of him? No, that's, what's the word, guys? Help me out with these, like, phrasings. Because literally she is just like projection. It just screams like projection, because he's talking about his own client. And this is almost objectively shown. It's not, yeah, allegedly. From what we've seen, this is what it has appeared to be. So that, he's talking about themselves, not about Friedman. We will immediately file motions with the court to hold these attorneys accountable for their misconduct here. The connection, oh, yeah. Then it was like Taylor's statement, whatever. And then more of Lively's people. Entertainment for the tabloids. Because the New York Times, that's like not a tabloid, so that's okay, I guess. This is a very serious legal matter, not Barnum and Bailey Circus, which to me sounds so ridiculous, because who knows that reference? No offense to anyone who knows that. I don't know that. That sounds like an old person. I don't know. Blake is interesting because she sounds so many times like an old person references. She looks so much older than she is. And she's an interesting one. The defense, and like in the way that like she has these references that don't make sense. I don't know. The defendants continue to publicly intimidate, bully, shame, and attack women's rights and reputations. I believe that Friedman is kind of standing up for Taylor Swift, or, you know, so to speak. So this is so messed up to say, because he's literally, in what he's saying is like, hey, like, Taylor's not to blame or whatever. Like, she got attacked by her friend, supposedly, allegedly. So what are they saying? Women's rights and reputations and attacking whatever and intimidating, bullying, and shaming. Like, what are you talking about? Oh my god, I cannot wait for this to be over in a good way. I'm still very scared that it's not going to go good, that it's going to, you know, go bad on a technicality or something. But I just like, ugh, I just cannot stand Blake Lively after this. It's like just any bully, you know, once you see them, you can't unsee them, and you just don't want anything to do with them. And it's just infuriating, and infuriating them getting away with things over and over, and them playing the victim. That's like the hardest part. And all the voices of all the women who supposedly she speaks for, which is such like, not BS, that too, but like insulting to women, you know, what she's doing. But to all that, like, because instead of like being able to provide a platform for women's voices, she's like, no, guys, no, you don't need to speak. I will speak for you. It's different than like, you know, women, like, come on, like, speak your truth. Like, I'll provide a platform for you. It's, of course she doesn't get it, that it's different. And because they also speak against her. Yeah, oh man, anyways. But I like this, both of these articles, this was yesterday's and this was today's, I think. Both of these articles, also this reminds me, I feel like there was a chocolate that was covered in something like this. And so every time I see something, and this, not just on Taylor, but someone else wore something like this, I just think of the chocolate. I don't know. It's really good. It's actually a good color. She should wear green more. Both of them referenced at the end, but they still referenced how Lively was asked about Swift's involvement in the project, It Ends With Us project, during an August 2024 interview with Gayle King on CBS Mornings. Excuse me. Good night, Maria. And she said that Taylor, she was with me throughout the whole process. So I think that for better or worse, she, you know, experienced the whole thing with me. Sorry, Millennium Mom, have a good night. I just saw good night for Maria. Yeah. And I thought that it was like an obscure, you know, Q&A at some theater. I didn't know, I missed this one. But yeah, so we have it in 2 articles, and I'm sure that's somewhere, you know, as a clip. Wow, brain. Okay, work brain. And that, to me, that sounds very much like, because she says, for better or worse, she, you know, experienced the whole thing with me, the whole thing, because if she said the whole thing, it means that she is implying, and we don't know anymore anything. Yeah, sorry, Maria. I just read your good night and I thought it's like you that were leaving. It implies that Taylor she confided in Taylor about everything, because, you know, how else would she have been through the whole process with her? Which is really weird, because I have a hard time I do have a hard time imagining Taylor. She was exhausted. I just can't imagine doing 3-hour concerts every week. What, 3 or 4 days of concerts or something every week? She has said that in between, like, she would just be in bed, like, just rest. Of course, not always, but like, I just find it hard and also selfish of Blake to call on her friend for her own selfish needs. Like, I don't know. Because Taylor, I mean, that's like, it was kind of unprecedented. I don't know. That was like hard stuff that Taylor was doing. So you would think that she would have a little bit of consideration and not bother her friend that much. Maybe like a little bit here and there, but she's saying that she experienced the whole thing with her. So like, we'll see. We'll see the truth. You know, everything Blake says seems to, allegedly, whatever, appears to be highly embellished. So we'll see. Anyways. So Ezra keeps saying that the letter, which was not filed with any evidentiary support of any kind, much less anything under oath, falsely accuses Miss Lively and her counsel of engaging in witness tampering and evidence spoliation based on an undisclosed anonymous source. Miss Lively requests that the court strike the Freeman letter pursuant to its inherent power to control and to strike material from its docket that is abusive and otherwise improper under the circumstances. There was a headline, was it a headline or something in one of these articles that, no, it was a headline, I don't know which publication, they led with this like improper, you know, like judge basically saying something like the judge punished Friedman, paraphrasing their headline, for improper document or something. I don't know. It should be unnecessary to respond to anonymously sourced, baseless allegations recklessly leveled without any supporting evidence. I mean, no one asked them to respond, though. No one asked them to respond. It is worth stating for the record, I may be wrong with that. I may understand that wrongly, but like, no one asked them to respond. No one questioned them. They were pursuing the subpoena in a different court. Nothing to do with them. So it is worth stating for the record, however, that each of the allegations in the Friedman letter is unequivocally and demonstrably false. As a legal matter, the Friedman letter is improper. It does not, I like how they labeled it the Friedman letter instead of like document 217 or whatever. Anyways, it does not seek any form of relief, is irrelevant to any motion currently pending before the court, and serves no legitimate purpose, except that you wanted to quash the subpoena and they responded no because of this. It is not useful to the court in any respect, exercising inherent authority to strike a document that is not relevant or useful to the court. I think Omar was saying in the live that they had together, Lauren and him, that, yeah, like, this was probably, maybe, potentially, partly for PR purposes. Excuse me. Because Freeman technically could have just asked to talk about this information behind the scenes in the judge's chamber. I think the term is in camera, which that's how we, it's probably, yeah, from the Latin, because that's how we say room in Romanian, camera. And we also say like camera. I wonder why. It's probably because, I wonder if it's because people thought that a camera is a room. I mean, it used to be a room. Anyways, I diverge too much. Miss Lively filed a letter to which the Friedman letter purports to respond as a courtesy to inform the court about motion to quash proceedings that Venable commenced in another federal court and to preserve her own right to object to the third party subpoena. Miss Lively filed a letter to which the Friedman letter purports to respond as a courtesy to inform the court about motion to quash proceedings that Venable commenced in another federal court and to preserve her own right to object to the third party subpoena. But why would she be needed to object to that subpoena? I'm so confused. But she did not ask the court to take any action, and her letter did not merit or warrant any response from Mr. Friedman, let alone, well, I mean, are we surprised that she says that? Because she wants to, blame people for SH, and but you don't need to respond. We don't need to hear what you say. We don't need to hear that you claim that you didn't do it. No, it's just my word that matters. Victims, you don't need to talk. I'll talk for you. Wow, I almost spilled my water. I mean, I hate that. I hate how that's phrased. And not so much how it's phrased, but like the understanding that I have of it. Like she did not ask the court to take any action, and her letter did not merit or warrant any response for Mr. Friedman, let alone one that purports to manufacture a conspiracy theory in order to obtain communications from opposing counsel via a third party. It's so stupid, that whole paragraph, to me. The apparent intent of the Friedman letter is to launder scandalous and defamatory allegations about Miss Lively and opposing counsel. And sorry for all of you that already have listened maybe to Lauren's. Yeah, she might have read this. I don't know. Again, I was like under a rock, and then I haven't read one of these in a long time, so I'm just curious. The apparent intent of the Friedman letter is to launder scandalous and defamatory allegations about Miss Lively and opposing counsel into the press by abusing the court's docket and avoiding the order requiring attorneys in this case comply with Rule 3.6. The court's local rules do not specify whether a party may make a motion to strike pursuant to a court. I don't think that's the thing. What's the Rule 3.6? I don't know. Within minutes of the Friedman letter appearing on the court's docket, at 1:50 p.m., media outlets began publishing stories concerning the Friedman letter, including one that posted a 40-plus paragraph article at 1:55 p.m. that asserted as a fact that Miss Lively threatened to expose Taylor Swift's private texts unless she publicly sided with her in Justin Baldoni's feud. See, Ruth Stiles, Blake Lively threatened. I'm gonna click on this now because, wait, can I click on the thing? What is this 40 page? This is not 40 pages. I mean, you have I've been just, oh my gosh, just all of the ads. I've been copying and pasting just so I can read these articles because it's so impossible to read. Not only all the photos, but all the ads and sideways and backways. But let's see how long this is, because this is not 40 pages. It's not even 40 pages, as a scene. I wonder if the judge looks at the references. Probably he should, but who knows? Sorry. No, this might be really boring, but I'm like really stubborn like this. It's also the same pictures over and over. Like, we need to see everything over and over. Stop. think that's the end, isn't it? Like, look at these stupid things. Like a toilet. I hate these. I don't understand. Like, a Daily Mail, not exactly a reputable source, but I don't understand. What the heck? I don't understand. All right, 4 pages. I think they added an extra 0 in there because it's 4 pages long. 4 pages. Oh, 40 paragraph. Okay, I don't... 40 these are the paragraphs. I don't think these are counted as paragraphs technically. I mean, I guess technically yes, but that's why they didn't put the pages, because it's only 4 pages. It's just a regular length article. I think they have a lot of this because they regurgitated even between these 2 articles, they regurgitated some information. I think they just have like, oh, let's pull so it has, you know, a certain amount of words, you know, to hit. But yeah, I don't think I would consider these paragraphs. I mean, these are not paragraphs. Stupid. Anyways. What do you mean is what more? Oh, is it more paragraphs? I don't know. It's probably not more paragraphs. But yeah, 4 pages and I guess 40 plus paragraphs. Yeah, I don't know. I can't even really tell the paragraphs. If I would sit, maybe I'll have this on Monday for you guys. Because if I sit there and actually compose the actual paragraphs, because a paragraph is like a train of a thought. So I'll maybe combine these to state how many paragraphs it actually has. It's 4 pages. It's only 4 pages. But yeah, anyways, at 1:55 they had this article. Oh, and 1:50 it appeared that asserted as the fact that Miss Lively threatened to expose Taylor, blah blah blah. Excuse me. During a hearing on February 3rd, this court explained to the parties that it would intervene if it turns out that this ends up being litigated in the press in a way that would prejudice the opportunity of the parties to a fair trial. But he didn't do that. He didn't go to the press. Dirty plays. February 3rd, the court should promptly strike the Friedman letter from the docket to avoid exactly the result it presaged at the initial hearing. Blah, 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 blah. Sorry, I'm zoned out on all this stuff. So that was the motion to strike. And then I actually didn't read this in full because I was driving, like I said. I thought you meant more. No, yeah, 4 pages. I thought they said 40 pages, but they said 40 paragraphs. They said that for effect. Anyways, we write in response to the letter motion to strike. The motion asked the court to strike my letter of May 14th. The May 14th letter was submitted in response to Miss Lively and Consolidated Defendant Reynolds' corrected letter of May 13, purporting to inform the court of their request to intervene in an action pending before a different federal court relating to the motion of Venable LLP to quash the subpoena served on them by my office. Which, you know, articles could easily also say now that, you know, Blake Lively loses in court because the judge didn't quash the subpoena in a different court. He said, that's not my court, can't rule on anything. But they're not saying that. Anyways, the premise of the motion is that I made a deliberate and shameless misrepresentation to the court and that the facts set forth on the May 14th letter, he doesn't call it the Friedman letter, are false and unfounded. That is not so. Attached here too as Exhibit 1 is an affidavit executed under penalty of perjury stating the factual basis for the statement set forth in May 14th letter. I wonder, when was this? I wonder like what time this was made. No, because he like the judge could have already stricken the previous one, so he got like right there with this. Notably, the motion is signed not by Michael Gottlieb, whose conduct gave rise to my office issuance of a subpoena to Venable, but instead by another attorney from a different firm representing the lively defendants. Which when I first read this, again, I was like in the middle of traveling. So I didn't really understand, like, what? There's so many lawyers, blah, blah. Now I understand that the letter itself was signed by someone else, not that the action was, or the affidavit or whatever. He didn't present any proof of the actual happening that is said, because that's what he's trying to get, is the subpoena. Yeah. The motion also, which, yeah, I mean, it is like, I said that probably Gottlieb wasn't to be trusted with saying anything, because he was probably super triggered. Maybe that's why. But it is not lost on Friedman and many of us that he didn't write the letter himself. The motion also faults the May 14th letter for being filed without evidentiary support of any kind. Blah, blah, blah. This opposition supplies the sworn affidavit that Lively argues the letter lacked. Finally, and most notably, the motion claims that the facts set forth in May 14th letter are unequivocally and demonstrably false, yet it is unsupported by any sworn declaration to that effect, much less from Mr. Gottlieb. The motion further contends that May 14th letter was improper because it does not seek any form of relief, is irrelevant to any motion currently before the court, and serves no legitimate purpose. Of course, the same could be said of the Lively defendant's May 13th letter. That's not a very strong argument, Mr. Friedman. In the May 13th letter, Lively defendants claim that the subpoena served on Venable seeks the Lively defendant's attorney communications, including those of Michael Gottlieb, with no explanation as to how they could be relevant to any party's claims and defenses in this litigation. Given that Miss Lively herself admits that in the May 13th letter, she did not ask the court to take any action, nor could she. Given the motion to quash the subpoena to Venable is pending before a separate court and is outside the court's jurisdiction, it is apparent that May 13th letter was filed with the court for the purpose of besmirching the Wayfarer parties and their counsel. A response was not necessary. You know what popped into my head reading this? Where was that? Oh, shoot. Oh, I should have said it at the moment that it popped into my head. Which Miss Lively claims to have submitted as a courtesy, and in which she did not ask the court to take an action. Claimed the subpoena served on Venable seeks the Lively defendant's attorney communications, including Gottlieb, with no explanations to how they could be real. Oh, crap. Oh, it was a good point, but it's lost. I don't remember. Oh, gosh, that's so annoying. Nor could she, given that the motion to quash the subpoena to Venable is pending before a separate court. Oh, that I remember. I wonder also if this extreme measure on Friedman's part was taken also because if it was in chamber type of thing, there would have been less eyes to hold that accountable, if that makes sense. And this is not like trying to insinuate anything about the judge. This is just my paranoia in general lately. So this way, yeah, it was, striked or stricken or whatever. But the whole world that watches this saw this, and it cannot be forgotten or unseen, and it holds everyone involved more accountable. Wayfair, Lively, and Judge, all of them more accountable, more like, you know. Um, I don't know if that's how it works. I don't know anything about Brian Friedman's thought process, but that's like one hypothesis that came to mind. Like, oh, I wonder if that was part of it. I don't know. You know, because I think of, but this is more like employee thing. But I think a lot when I do anything, I make sure that I send an email or something that is like more, I can like bring it up, you know, versus like words or a private hearing or something. Again, I don't know if that's how it works. I don't know if that means anything or not. I don't know, but yeah, it just made me think of how the stupid people are still avoiding paying me. I don't want to go to my own court, but I might have to and get twice the money. But oh gosh, so frustrating. Anyways, this affidavit. I, Brian J. Friedman, pursuant to 28 USC, some numbers and some words that I don't know, hereby declare as follows. I'm a partner of Liner, Friedman, Tatelman, and Cooley, LLP, attorneys for Consolidated Plaintiffs, Wayfair Studios, LLC, Justin, Jamie, blah, 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 blah. Sorry. Not a blah, blah with disrespect, but like I'm tired and I can't read those. So, not meaning disrespect. And I could have said all of that by the time it took me to say all of these other words. I submit this affidavit in opposition to the motion to strike filed on May 14th by Blake Lively regarding my May 14th letter elaborating on the basis for the Wayfair party's subpoena to Venable LLP. Oh, okay, sorry. On February 14th, I received a voicemail from a person very closely linked to Taylor Swift, whom I subsequently called back the same day. Out of respect for the individual in question, I'm not identifying them at this time. However, should the court direct me to do so, I will comply with the court's order. During the February 14th, this is what people do on Valentine's Day. During this phone call, which lasted approximately 1 hour, the speaker told me that they had been informed that J. Douglas Baldridge, counsel for Taylor Swift and a partner at Venable LLP, had received a phone call from Michael Gottlieb, counsel for Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, during which Mr. Gottlieb requested, on Miss Lively's behalf, that Taylor Swift make a social media statement in support of Miss Lively given her absence from the Super Bowl that year, and stated that if Miss Swift failed to do so, Miss Lively would release 10 years of private texts with Miss Swift. The individual also told me that they had been informed that Mr. Baldridge had accused Mr. Gottlieb of extortion and ended the call. Some people are speculating who this potential speaker close to Taylor Swift could be. I forget, not Golden, is that her name? She was like feeling like it's her dad. A lot of people are thinking probably not like Travis or even her publicist necessarily, maybe. I would not think it's her publicist. That would be like really weird. Well, where was it? Number 6, I was connected to this individual through a mutual friend who informed me that the individual wanted to talk. We had several phone calls since February 14th. That made me think like it might be her dad or someone like that, because I think I said it on Andy's, I forget whose video I commented this. This might be ageism on my part, but Brian Friedman's like older and her parents are as older and or like around the same age, so that kind of makes sense, like mutual friends. Yeah, I don't know, mom, dad, I don't know. And also because like it's really hard to imagine that it's her parents. At the same time, and again, this we don't know so much. So, but if this is true, if what alleged is true, I imagine this being that. But also, yeah, it's hard to imagine the parents because it's parents. But then also, I think no one else would stand for their child, for someone like parents for their child. Make sure that they're safe, make sure that they're not taken advantage of. If that is true, if you know, it's if all of this is true. Also because like it seems like Taylor and Blake did not have any personal contact at that point, since they supposedly went through their attorneys. Excuse me. And so that kind of signals, if this, what the speaker said is true, that's kind of what it signals, that they didn't talk anymore. And if they didn't talk anymore because it was kind of seen by Taylor and or her, family, that like, hey, this Blake woman is not your actual friend. Watch out for her. Be careful. I can imagine how that might be something that could happen. This is a hypothetical. I'm just like really in hypothetical theory mode right now. So yeah, I can imagine that. I don't know. Probably in 10 years we'll know a lot about this, but so far, no. Speaking of 10 years, did I skip a bunch? No. During the February 14th call, which lasted approximately 1 hour, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so Mika, social media statement. I read it and I didn't read it. In support of Miss Lively, given her absence from the Super Bowl that year, and stated that if Miss Swift failed to do so, Miss Lively would release 10 years of private text with Miss Swift, which is also just like, are we 5? And also like, really 10 years? Why? I mean, think about the consequence outweighs the issue. Like, the consequence is not matching the problem. It's completely much bigger than the problem. 10 years. It's not like Blake is, this is a civil court situation. It's not a criminal situation. So it's not like she's going to jail potentially or something. It's not like she's fighting for her life. So like, why, if this is true, why would it be that serious and like big? I don't know. Stop. Go away. Okay. Sorry, not you guys, but SIRI. It's like kids. You spell it so she doesn't know. The individual also told me that they had been informed that Mr. Baldridge had accused Gottlieb of extortion in a call. During the same call for a February 14th call, the individual told me that they had been informed that 4 or 5 months earlier, Miss Lively had requested that Miss Swift delete her text messages with Miss Lively, which people have calculated it's around the October, last double date thing. However, this is the thing. If this is true, it doesn't line up with Travis unfollowing Ryan. If this is true with the February 14th, it would make more sense for him to do it. Maybe not that day because, Super Bowl, whatever. Let's give him a month. By April, he should have done it, So it's kind of weird. People say, oh, it coincides with the subpoena being issued. Why would that be a trigger? Doesn't make sense. that only makes sense for him to see it as like, oh, she's, getting dragged into this. I'm upset that they're dragging her in, that they've caused all of this to happen. That's what it makes more sense of. But if they're like together, I'm sorry, but like my partner would know, probably the first person to know. Again, maybe not like he had his Super Bowl, he's bombed out, maybe he takes a few weeks off, whatever, but he would know way before me. Anyways, on a later call with the same individual, the individual told me that Mr. Baldridge had sent a written communication to Gottlieb relating to their phone call or conversation. My office issued a subpoena to Venable for the purpose of seeking the aforementioned written communication. I declare under penalty of perjury pursuant to numbers and letters I don't know that the foregoing is true and correct. And notary, public notary person. Cool. So, yeah, that happened. And then the judge happened. And the judge said, no, we'll strike it. Blake Lively moves to strike a letter filed in this case on May 14th by attorney Brian Friedman on behalf of the Wayfair parties. The motion is made pursuant to the court's inherent power to prevent abusive or improper use of its docket. The motion is granted. Courts have, I like how succinct that was. Courts have inherent power to manage their own affairs so as to achieve the orderly and expeditious disposition of cases. This includes the power of strike materials outside the pleadings that are abusive or otherwise improper. The Second Circuit has emphasized that courts should protect the judicial process from being co-opted to promote scandal arising out of unproven, potentially libelous statements. It has stated that a district court has not only the power but also the responsibility to exercise supervisory power over its own records and files to ensure they are not used to gratify private spite or promote public scandal. I mean, the whole thing is that, but, or serve as reservoirs of libelous statements for press consumption. The letter is improper and must be stricken. It is irrelevant to any issue before this court and does not request any action from this court. Striking reference that serves no purpose other than to inflame the reader. Okay. Striking allegations that are not relevant and have no bearing on the issue. It concerns a subpoena proceeding in the District of Columbia over which this court has no authority. The sole purpose of the letter is to promote public scandal by advancing inflammatory accusations on information and belief against Lively and her counsel. It transparently invites a press uproar by suggesting that Lively and her counsel attempted to extort a well-known celebrity. Retaining the letter on the docket would be of no use to the court and would allow the court's docket to serve as a reservoir of libelous statements for press consumption. The same is true for the Wayfair party's subsequent submission, which court will strike sua sponte for the same reason. The Second Circuit has noted that court filings may be abused to make potentially defamatory statements without the threat of liability, given that New York law, absolute immunity from liability for defamation exists for oral or written statements made in connection with a proceeding before a court. It has advised the press accordingly that although the act of filing a document with a court might be thought to lend that document additional credibility, in fact, allegations appearing in such documents might be less credible than those published elsewhere. The motion to strike is granted. The clerk of court is directed to strike these dockets. The clerk of court is additionally directed to strike... What's docket 101? And that's like nothing. Right? Is this in the other? Yeah, is this the other one? Wait, is this the DC one? And I wish I could be, be able to search by that, but I can't. Because that's this law, whatever. I don't think I can search. No one's mentioned this. I'm pretty sure this is not that easy. Because I've tried to find this one that way and I couldn't. That's so weird. Still thinking. So 217, 219 from this one, and then 101 from this other place, and 102. What am I missing? Counsel is advised that future misuse of the court's docket may be met with sanctions. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I still don't, I wouldn't jump to the conclusion that he's biased. He's done a lot of decisions so far. I mean, he's not made that many decisions, at least from what I've seen, that are in favor of Wayfair, so, or like neutral. So I don't think he's proven that he's biased, and I think, I don't know, I feel like that's like really hard to do. I don't know. I think I've said this before, like to get a judge. I don't know. I don't feel like, oh, excuse me, I don't feel like we've seen enough to think one way or another. And, who are we to think that? Oh my gosh, this is taking forever. So yeah. I'm curious what that other thing is. Let me see if Google knows anything. Probably not. Oh, it's okay. I think one is I think this is from Justin's side, maybe from Wayfair's side. Yeah, against Blake, and then 1049 whatever, that's against Wayfair, I'm guessing. Cool. So yeah, so we'll see how things proceed. I'm curious if anything else will come about from this. I think, yeah, it's a little interesting for us that he made such a quick decision on this. Like I said, I feel like Brian Friedman was kind of between a rock and a hard place. If he would have gone to the media, it would have been against the hearing decision. If he put it on the docket here, it would be kind of the same. So it was like a lose-lose situation. But he got, I feel like, enough information in to be like, hey, no, this is serious. I don't know. I find it hard to believe that it's not real. I don't know that for a fact, obviously. So I'm just hypothesizing. I'm just expressing my personal opinion. I just find it hard based on what we've heard and seen of Lively throughout these last few months, from the past, from the present. And in a way, that's what we all, I think, or many of us, are so glued to this case for, that abuse of power, and wanting to prevent that and wanting some kind of justice against that. And that's what it speaks to. Brian has something up his sleeve. Yeah. I mean, I think he has a lot. There's so much that I think, I don't know, but I feel like there's so much that he's alluded to having that he hasn't shown. Rightly so, I believe, because I think it's certain things are safer and better to reveal later. I think they all know each other, like I believe by the trial, for at least maybe even by now, they have to reveal different evidence or whatever. I don't know, like, this is me speaking from watching, the lawyer shows. But you have, you always get in those shows like, hey, I didn't see this piece of evidence, so it's inadmissible. And it's like, no, because of this loophole, I can still present it. Or I just found out about it this morning, so of course you didn't have time. I'm like, how convenient. Anyways, so, but yeah, so there's some things that they have to still gather evidence for. He's being careful. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, April. I'm sorry. I keep thinking like, oh, it's late, I should speak like quieter, calmer. Yeah, I want you to get sleep. So I'm sorry to wake you up. Yeah. What we've seen so far is practically none. And one of the things that I was thinking about when reading that, the judges, I think it was a judge's letter, was that the lively side hasn't really explained to the public, like, this is why this is a win for us. The Wayfair side, I don't feel like they have to, because we all do it for them. There's so many content creators talking about, like, this is a win for Wayfair. This is, good for Wayfair because of this or whatever. But it's interesting because I also thought of Omar saying that it appears like the lively side is litigating as a losing side, not a winning side. And I don't know if it was him or someone else, probably him, that said also that, those who speak the most are the ones that are losing. Because if you're winning, you don't have to speak that much. And Brian Friedman hasn't, and, the other lawyers on the Wayfair side have barely spoken, have not really presented much of anything. They're doing their due diligence. They're working hard. They're doing their thing. But we've not seen much. He also said that there's things that we don't see. But I think when Lauren asked him, like, we would still see it, we just would not, we would see either redacted information, or we wouldn't be able to, like, see the document itself if it was completely private, but we'd still see it in the order. Um, yeah, so, I don't know. When I first heard the whole story, I was thinking, I want to see Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, but Blake be all in the public eye now. This was before the judge's order, so maybe this gave her, like, oh, no, I'm safe. But yeah, I'm still thinking, like, I wonder if she's feeling more pressure and maybe, like, maybe I should lay low. If this is happening, if Taylor Swift is not on her side, because if she, hypothetically, allegedly, if she, Blake, made up, so the other article was, the relationship is halted, And it gets so freaking confusing. It's like this ping pong of sources, multiple sources. This source says one thing, the other source says the same thing but different, and the other source this, and the other source that. And it's like, just pick a source and do another article for a different source. How about that? And some sources are not stated to be on one side or another. But yeah, multiple sources tell people exclusively that the actress's relationship with Swift is struggling as the singer faces a subpoena by Baldoni's legal team. Phrase like it's his fault. Their friendship has halted. I mean, also, honestly, unless something is shown that she was really, Blake was extreme, just flat out lying and not only exaggerating but lying about Taylor's involvement, unless it's something like that, both of these women are adult-ish enough. I think I could consider both of them adult because they're, I mean, they're not just like just regular people just living life. They have a lot of responsibility. Especially Taylor has like a lot of employees, basically, of all sorts, and a lot of responsibility. So they're both responsible for their own actions. Like, let's not blame everything on, oh, Baldoni. Like, they both could say no, could say yes, could, do a lot of things. But if Taylor really just knew nothing, and maybe she was invited to the penthouse, not, knowing that it was going to be, a business meeting that she was going to walk into. Because I heard that they live close to each other. They're like neighbors pretty much in New York. So, I don't know. But who knows? Their friendship has halted, says a source close to Swift. Taylor wants no part in this drama, which is so dramatic to say, to call it drama. Another insider says that Lively, whose friendship can be documented back to 2014, and Swift are indeed taking some space, but adds that they are no longer friends. That sounds like an 18-year-old or younger. No longer friends. Or Blake herself. Or Taylor, but I think Taylor is better with words. In late April, a source told people that Swift was really hurt after being implicated in Lively's legal fight, but the stars were working to put it all behind them, and I don't know why. The dragons part. Now, however, a source close to the legal battle says the subpoena, this is another source, supposedly, maybe, I don't know, has fractured the fragile peace between Lively and Swift. Multiple sources also tell people that Lively's friendship with another longtime pal, Gigi Hadid, who Andy at Popcorn Planet keeps calling her Haddad. I'm like, oh my gosh, Kim corrected you already. Also, all you have to do is read. Anyways, I don't know why that like bothers me so much. Specifically because he was corrected by Kim already. Like, I don't know. Has cooled in recent months. Gigi feels terrible that her close friend is being pulled into the legal drama, which is how I imagine Travis like unfollowed Ryan, if that's true, and all that stuff. Which is odd if what that source told Friedman is true, Gigi is closer to Taylor and has definitely taken her side in this whole drama. Gigi doesn't want to get involved in this whole ordeal. I mean, Gigi has like a pretty good mom that probably gave her some advice based on what I remember of Yolanda, I think, right? On Housewives of Beverly Hills. Like, she'll be like, no, Gigi, come on. Like, don't even think about you need to stay clear of Blake. Just drama. You don't want to get wrapped into that. Gigi doesn't want to get involved in this whole ordeal, but she is closer to Taylor and has distanced herself from Blake, although she still considers her a friend. I don't know if this is how it works. I know like Army Hammer has spoken, like he doesn't blame people, friends that didn't stick by him through his time. I just find it hard to consider someone a friend who clearly Blake is fighting teeth and nails for this whole thing. So I just find, and she's trying to get people on her side, just random women on the internet, out in the world, like, hey, you, like, I'm doing this for you. Like, she's trying so hard. So I find it very difficult to believe that if I was her in that way, if I was like in her actual shoes, the way that she's coming across to be as a person, that I would consider her a friend. I would consider that a huge betrayal, and like they're not my friends, and I would threaten them. Like that's what I imagine would happen. So I don't know that for a fact. So it's a weird, maybe just PR statement type of thing. Lively suit. It ends with us co-star blah blah blah. Since coming forward with her lawsuit claims, several of Lively's famous friends have spoken out in support of her, including the Sisterhood people in 2024 December. And then Emily Blunt, I mean, this is so several friends. Brendan Sklenar isn't even on here. Brendan Sklenar isn't even on here. What's her name? Jenny Slate isn't on here. So did they distance themselves too? So these are the only people that Blake Lively has left. The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants, Emily Blunt, and Stanley Tucci, and Salma Hayek. Very unlike, it's just like odd group of friends, but okay. And then I saw this with Emily Blunt and how nice she was speaking to Blake on the red carpet at South by Southwest. And I was like, I really, really loved and respected Emily Blunt. Short of being blackmailed, I don't know that I can have the same love and respect after this for her. And it's really weird. It's like screwing with my mind because everything that I've seen about her has been so nice and great. But like, I don't know. And Selma, I don't know. I actually can have more respect and appreciation and the same love that I had for Selma before than now as I did before than Emily. But also, like, I wasn't like the biggest Selma fan. I was definitely a big Emily Blunt fan though. So, oh gosh. Swift, however, has been notably silent, and I've heard some bad things about Stanley Tucci, but I don't know. He's like neutral for me. I don't care one way or another about him. Swift, however, has been notably silent about the live lead ends with us drama. The reason that she's not saying much also might be to distance herself and maybe, you know, like, hey, whatever you say will be held against you type of thing. But maybe, like Andy is saying, maybe it's true because, yeah, she puts out statements really fast. And she's not put out a statement. Because Taylor Swift could have put out a statement, or her team could have put a statement like, you know, in response to Baldoni's letters, like something like he's trying to, you know, I don't know, whatever the Lively team has said. You know, he's trying to say bad things about me, bad stuff about me. I don't know. The word doesn't come to mind. Not defame me, but like, you know, it didn't have to be necessarily directly like those are categorically false, you know, kind of things. She could have said just simply something more neutral, not agreeing or disagreeing with what Brian Freeman said, but just saying something neutral as like, kind of like this. Taylor does not want to be anywhere near this. Like, leave her alone. I don't know what I'm trying to say. But she didn't even say that. And if Brian Friedman is honest, or not honest, but like accurate in that Venable and his team is speaking and working things out, like, it sounds like they're definitely willing to cooperate and just kind of fed up. And yeah, I don't know. It's such an interesting one. And then, Gottlieb quote, blah, blah, blah. The other part that, the other part was what I read in the other article was this August 2024 CBS Mornings interview where, basically people remind, like, twice in two articles the day, like, side by side, twice reminded everyone, including these people, like, hey, Lively told, just so we're all clear, Lively told everyone that Taylor was highly involved in this and she was by her side through everything. So anyone, will you answer that? Will you address that? No one's addressing that. So yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Now she doesn't know what Blake Lively was doing. Yeah. Yeah. Just very interesting. What else did I have? Oh, Anita has a video. I don't know. I'm new to Anita. I wonder if she's Romanian just by the accent. She sounds like my friend. Not like voice-wise, but accent-wise.
Instead, they figured out it was not that. First of all, there was no smear campaign.
Like accent and the way that the voice sits, it's like this like nasally. She has to be Eastern European, I feel like. But anyways, I almost want to ask her, but I don't want to out her or anything. I'm personally curious, just because of that. So, but yeah, she has this video. This is her first video. She had previously posted a video just like introducing like her website. And this is her website, which is, I'm not gonna lie, really hard for me to read. And I don't know if it's just because it's just so many words and my brain is like, no. Just words after words, like there's no breakup by pictures or by like style. I mean, you do have some, I don't know, it's just really hard. My brain, it needs like special care when it comes to reading. Like she mentioned she has a spreadsheet. Like, give me the spreadsheet. I'll more easily understand that. But she has a lot of information. And I guess she's starting to do, and these are not populated. She's starting to do YouTube, which I think is great. So go follow her, check her out. I'll include, obviously, I already have her video and links here, but yeah. And she mentions that, I think it was on Omar's, that Lively is not as talented as Taylor or Ryan, so that's why it didn't work what she was trying to do. And she had a very good point. I said she has a point. She said something like Ryan at least had a very clear vision for Deadpool, and he's not stupid, built up his kingdom rather than how Blake already had it, by birth. Good points, I think. But yeah, I think that, yeah, Ryan's definitely, you could even say conniving, but to be conniving, it takes some intelligence. Blake definitely tried to do, whether it's Ryan through Blake or Blake herself, she was trying to seemingly, sorry, it seems like she was trying, allegedly, whatever, to have, I think you guys have said this too, like it seems like she was trying to have her own thing. Like Ryan has Deadpool and Taylor Swift has Taylor Swift. Has everything. And so she was, to Anita's like theory, pun not really intended, yeah, I can see that. I will second that as my own theory too. I'll double the theory, support the theory that it didn't work because she just doesn't bring anything. She doesn't, because she also said how she tried to rewrite the scene. Who we still don't know who actually rewrote that rooftop scene. And I still owe you that video of comparing the, book versus the movie. But yeah, like that didn't it didn't sound like it was good, but that could have been Ryan, because I don't think he's really good at writing. I think he's really good at Deadpool. And he might be good at writing, but he's so Deadpool only, I imagine that that's only how he thinks. And I say that because every interview that I've seen him in is just Deadpool jokes. He's like one dimensional. There's no other dimension to Ryan Reynolds besides just Deadpool type of humor. That's it. That's it. I mean, even Blake has more dimensions, good or bad, but like she still has like more dimensions. He's just like one dimensional. So yeah, maybe if he would, not be so tied to Deadpool, he might have more talent in writing. But I don't know who actually wrote that scene. Either way, what I heard in Justin was a very polite director saying, I appreciate this. I'll take this into consideration. And deep inside thinking, well, I can't use this. This is not good. This is not good material. And he was kind of forced to, like, or intimidated, seemingly intimidated, allegedly, to include it more than he would have in it. So, I think that's kind of it. Oh my gosh, I'm tired. It's only 12:30, guys. Happy Friday. I'm so tired. Yeah, that's all I have. So, waiting to see more. It'll probably be more quiet. Nothing like this will drop. I don't understand. I just don't understand Lively's side being so quiet as far as evidence or anything crazy. I don't understand that. Besides, like, it looks like they're just scattering. Maybe it's reverse psychology, but then there's like all the typos, all the like, the way that they speak is so defensive, so like hyperbole and triggered, not like someone who's very confident. So it's an exhausting reverse psychology, if that's what it is. Happy Saturday. Yeah. Happy Friday, happy Saturday. Yeah. Like I said, I started watching Suits LA too, and on a, I don't know, different note. I'll let you all know how it goes more. I'm just watching it because I couldn't find anything that fit with my mood of what I wanted to watch. And then I had started watching Etoile for the third time. Have any of you guys gave a chance to Etoile or Paradise? Those are like my top ones of 2025, top shows of 2025. I cannot wait for Etoile Part 2. I can't wait a whole year. Hopefully they'll come out faster with it. Maybe they won't, because they're still trying to push this one. I'm like, I already won. I already am seeing it for the third time. I won the next one so badly. The cliffhanger too is like, I need it now. yeah, that's all that I am watching currently and stuff. So yeah, that's kind of it. That's kind of it. No, no. Yeah. I get that. Like, suggestions, work for whenever you're in the mood for those suggestions. So, yeah, just keep those for that day. No, no, sorry, Angel. Hi, Angel. I don't think I said hi to you earlier. Um, yeah, no, sorry. Because, yeah, you have to be in a specific mood for things. So, yeah. But they're really good. Cool. That's all I have. I'm really tired. And I'm sorry that I kept you longer than I was hoping to, finish by 11:30, but yeah, maybe next time. And I'm sorry for all the chaos with my videos. I'm trying to figure out how to upload, and I got overly excited, yesterday by the whole ping pong that was happening. So, yeah. Have a good night, all. Marias, Angel, everyone. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching the replay, people. I see you watch, but I don't know how long you watch, and I don't know who you are. But thank you, and peace, love, and compassion. I almost said thank you and good night, but that sounds really weird. I did kind of dabble in Mrs. Maisel again, speaking of that. I even started songwriting again, which was interesting. But yeah, okay, cool. Peace, love, and compassion. Have a good night. And see you guys Monday, unless something crazy happens again. Probably won't. Very unlikely. But yeah. Bye. Now, how do I end? Oh, there we go.